So let's go.
It's literally releasing waste. There is nothing manly about every human being, every fucking mammal, most living creatures. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So you guys really seem to like my video from a few weeks ago reacting to transphobic memes. So I figured for today's video we might as well do something similar. Not the same, but similar. For this week's video, I figured we could react to transphobic advertisements. Some of the advertisements that I'm gonna react to today are pretty like explicitly transphobic, but some of the other ones I think are just kind of trying to be funny and not realizing that it's like hurtful to some people, you know? I post new videos every Thursday here on my channel. If you guys are not yet subscribed and you would like to be, go do that right now. I'll wait for you. Are you done? Thank you very much. I feel like Dora, 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 the Explorer. Dora, bitch. But yeah, with no further ado, let's get right into this week's video. Okay, all right, here we go. All right, so this is the first advertisement that I'm going to be reacting to today. Isn't it great? It's biology. Boys are boys and always will be. Girls are girls and always will be. You can't change sex. Respect all. Period. There is actually a period, so period. You can't just disrespect somebody by saying you can't change sex and then say respect all. Make up your mind. Like, goddamn. I love how it's called the free speech bus too. Like, girl, yes, you can use your free speech all you want. Congratulations. This is like J.K. Rowling, like, I'm doing this to promote free speech. Like, bitch, okay. And also, I feel like we really need to stop reducing sex to chromosomes. There's a lot more that goes into what determines somebody's sex. Like, yes, chromosomes, but also genitalia, the hormone levels in your body, primary and secondary sex characteristics, etc. Some of which are immutable, like chromosomes. You obviously cannot change your chromosomes, but some of the other ones are not so immutable. Before somebody gets upset in the comments, I'm not saying that I'm the same as a cisgender woman, but I am saying that I'm not like 100% a male. Here's the next advertisement. To be honest, this one was kind of funny to me at first because I was like, oh, they're like, you want a big change, you want something really different. You know how Caitlyn Jenner like went through a big change, you know, like cute. We love big changes. But then I saw the hashtag get laid the Hamptons way, and now I'm like, are you advertising getting laid with like a trans person? Like, are you saying that's what you have to offer? Like, I'm confused. I don't know why there are so many memes and advertisements that hate on Caitlyn Jenner. Like, leave the girl alone, goddamn. This one was also kind of funny to me, I won't lie. It says, I hope your sack is fuller than mine this Christmas. Merry Christmas from, what is it? Cranium. Bitch, can you not? Like, okay. Okay, just stop. It's not necessary. We also have this one. Bruce Jenner is homosexuality, the culture mayo, the Bible. Are you good? Somebody got really upset and just like couldn't think straight. They're like, Bruce Jenner, homosexuality, the Bible. No offense if you like the Bible, that's cool too. This next one was like not funny at all. I'm looking at you, Vodafone. It says, sorry Vodafone customers, it turned out he was a she after you used all your data. But it's saying that you need to buy more data so that you can make sure that they're not really a man. I'll fight you. Come after me. This kind of goes along with the whole like Christine thing that I talked about in my last video, where I was talking about how memes like that, and I would argue that advertisements like this are kind of leading into that whole frame of toxic masculinity. Some people were saying that like toxic masculinity isn't real, which like I'm not even gonna address that because like this kind of rhetoric leads men to be ashamed of being attracted to trans women, and then a lot of the times they get violent to reclaim that masculinity. This kind of shit is dangerous and it is not cute, to say the least. Do I have lipstick? No, I don't. I'm good. Wow, the first time ever I don't have motherfucking lipstick on my motherfucking teeth. This is in the frame, isn't it? Get out of town, bitch. This next one says transgender people deserve healthcare, support, justice, safety, and love. That's true. I like this one. This one's good. We can keep this one. Here's the next meme. This one reminds me of a certain LGBT, probably like an LGB. Yeah, LGB. It sounds weird without the T, because like the T is like an integral part of the LGBT community. Anyways, this is very much a turfy thing to say, I need to like tie this hand down, I'm so sorry. Like I was saying, it's a very much a turfy thing to say, and by that I mean that they're saying that trans women are not women, they are, you know, not female, so they are not adult human females, so they're not women. This also kind of reminds me of the whole like, well, 4th grade biology told me that men have penises and girls have vaginas. Like, bitch, really? Your 4th grade second science class told you that, so that's the end-all be-all on gender? Really? Okay, alright, fair. People like this cannot fathom the idea that concepts are sometimes oversimplified for definition's sake, but that they do still have these complexities that are undeniably there. The end of girls' sports. Her dreams of a scholarship shattered. Your 14-year-old daughter just lost her position on an all-girl team to a male. An all-red male. And now she may have to shower with him. Are you willing to let that happen? This is what they do. This is what they do. They latch onto any idea that could possibly demonize the trans community and they just run with it. First, we were predators that were coming into your bathrooms to harm your children. Then we started forcing toddlers to surgically alter their bodies. Also not true. And now we're making 14-year-old girls shower with boys. First of all, I highly doubt that any 14-year-old trans kid is gonna be showering in public. Like, I just don't see that happening realistically. Also, I'm not sure where there are 14-year-olds that are showering together in school or like wherever. I don't think that's like allowed. Is that allowed? That was not allowed at my school. I don't think it was. I was not part of that. This advertisement says some things are made just for guys. And it's like a bunch of urinals and then you see a girl at a urinal and it's just like, oh, girls don't belong at urinals. And that's why for a second I thought that it could be kind of transphobic. But then I kind of like rewired it in my brain to be pro-trans because, you know, you gotta see the bright side on things, right? So now I'm interpreting it as trans women don't belong in the men's room. So thank you, sports clips. This one is like a sign on the side of like a bus, a little bus hut, you know? Little bus hut. It says, competing human rights. Where is the justice? Bring respect for life and justice to Canadian politics. And then it's a picture of a grown man going into a door that reads, ladies showers. I'm assuming, and I could be totally wrong, but I'm assuming that this is in response to a bathroom bill or a bill, you know, similar to a bathroom bill. Just to be clear, these bathroom bills do not allow anybody to go into the bathroom under a false pretense or cause harm to anybody. So when people argue that, oh, men are gonna go into women's rooms and harm children, girl, that's already illegal. Just so you know, if you didn't know, they cannot do that legally, just so you know. But then they say, oh, well, they're just gonna find a loophole and they're gonna take advantage of these loopholes and say that they're trans when they're not trans. These loopholes that you're talking about would only let this man go into the bathroom to pee and then leave. That is all that these bathroom bills would protect that man to do. Would protect that man to do. Am I making sense? If he were to do anything predatory, anything, you know, not okay, there are laws that will punish him for it. The only reason to not have a bathroom bill that protects trans people going into the bathroom of their gender identity is to harm trans people, is to like literally discriminate against trans people. There's no logical argument to it. I'm sorry. This advertisement just looks dumb. They're like, think about it. Hashtag choose reality. But then they have to put all their points super, super tiny at the bottom so that nobody can actually really see them. They're just like, okay, yeah, reality. We like reality, yeah, all right. But when you scroll, when you fucking zoom in, when you look at what they actually want, do you think adult males should be able to enter female-only sleeping and changing areas for domestic violence refugees? I mean, if they're trans women, yeah, probably. Do you think fully intact male-bodied prisoners should be able to live with women in prison? What does that mean, fully intact? Am I not fully intact because I've had bottom surgery? That's kind of rude. I feel like I'm pretty intact, girl. Damn. It says some other stuff that I don't agree with, and then it says, do you think someone with a penis is a woman? I mean, yeah, probably if they're a trans woman. And then it says, say yes to common sense, hashtag choose reality, fair play for women. I'm not even gonna explain this one. Like, it's pretty blatantly like anti-trans, pretty blatantly transphobic. We don't like it. We're not about it. And then again, with the male wanting to shower with a 14-year-old daughter, I don't, like, where? Where is this happening? I don't think that's real. But then again, in like smaller, lighter writing that's much harder to read, it shows what the thing that they're fighting against like protects or what it like allows trans people to do. Nowhere does it say that it lets trans people shower with like 14-year-old girls. It just says that transgender students can play on the team of their gender identity. It also says they need to do transgender sensitivity training, which like, why are you so opposed to sensitivity training? Like, are you really that like adamant on being mean to trans people that you can't even like sit through a sensitivity training? You need to get over yourself. And then finally, the last advertisement that I'm reacting to today says, not all women menstruate and not all people who menstruate are women. Again, we like this one too. This one is great. We support this one. I figured we might as well end it on a positive note. There's been a lot of like anti-trans, transphobic stuff in this video. I want to show that there's definitely some good people out there putting pro-trans advertisements out into the universe too. It's not just the negativity, so don't let it get to you too hard. I promise You are loved, no worries, okay? All right, you guys, that is it for this week's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope you found it entertaining. If you did enjoy this video, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up down below. It really helps out my channel a lot, and I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Comment down below which advertisement was your least favorite, or comment which one you thought was like the cringiest. Just comment. I want to say hi to you guys. And finally, subscribe if you are not already and you would like to be. But yeah, other than that, I think I'm going to go. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in next week's video. Bye, guys.
I like how my girl also did a live stream that one. It was good. She did a great job with that live stream. My homegirl Samantha Lux did a great live stream where she was playing Super Mario Kart last night. I was like all for it. Her little hot ass was like playing some Mario Kart with her friends for an hour. I kind of wish I could. I kind of want to get it set up like that.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Recently the debate on trans athletes and whether or not they should be allowed to compete in the sports division aligning with their gender identity has kind of exploded. I remember people hating on Rachel McKinnon, the transgender world champion cyclist, for, competing in the women's division, but lately it's escalated to people hating on high school students and even trans women that never even competed against cisgender women. I want to make this video to break down all the misconceptions people have about trans athletes, specifically trans women. I also want to provide you with some resources and some studies about how hormone replacement therapy affects transgender women's physical advantages. And I also am going to give you my opinion on whether or not trans women should be able to compete alongside cisgender women in professional sports. I make new videos every single Thursday, so if you are new here, make sure that you hit the subscribe button. I'll wait for you. Go ahead. Thank you very much. Other than that, let's get right into this week's video. I want to start out this video by showing you guys some clips from various YouTube videos to really illustrate the concerns that people have about trans women in sports.
You want all this transgender shit? You know transgender athletes, you know who suffers? Women. That's who suffers. It's always women. And when you're trying to like make everything diverse, let's diversify and include everyone. No, you're not including everyone. You're including men to compete as women. That's what you're doing.
Biological men and biological women are different. That shouldn't be a controversial statement in any sort of sane world. It's something we're all implicitly and explicitly aware of. Males are stronger and faster than females are on average, especially once you get to an elite level. There's a very large performance difference. Even if I went on a hormonal treatment for 1 year, I think, to bring my testosterone down to a certain level, I think you'd have to be either stupid or, ideologically possessed to think that that would be remotely fair.
There's an individual who's, 270, maybe 300 pounds, competing against much smaller individuals. There's no doubt that testosterone makes you stronger, more aggressive. You go through a male puberty, you have bigger joints, you have bigger bones, and I just think it is grossly unfair. You are stealing people's dreams.
I'm so sorry that you had to sit through that and watch that, but it had to be done. You needed to understand. But now let's break down each of the arguments made so that we can go, step by step and really break down everything that's being said here. One, it is unfair to cisgender women to have to compete alongside transgender women. More specifically, that you are stealing people's dreams by forcing them to compete against transgender women. The second part of the opposition's argument is that people that have gone through male puberty have bigger muscles, they have larger bone structure, larger bone frame, bone structure, that they are stronger in general and that they will always benefit from these advantages. And finally, the third part of the argument, they all kind of go together, they're all kind of hand in hand, but I really wanted to break it down for you guys. The third part is that biological men and biological women are different. So to start off with the first part of the argument, that allowing trans women to compete against cisgender women would be unfair to those cisgender women. I actually agree with this statement to an extent. People born male do have undeniable biological advantages over their cisgender counterparts. However, we need to look into what factors of being born male are actually giving these athletes these advantages. I believe fairness in sports is super important, especially at a competitive professional level. But the thing is, I really don't think that this is unfair most of the time. The majority of scientists believe that the main cause of the differences in athletic ability between sexes is testosterone. And when that testosterone is suppressed for an extended period of time, the biological qualities affecting athletic ability change. This was actually demonstrated in a study with a trans athlete named Jill Bearden. Bearden actually had her athletic abilities tested before and after her hormonal transition, and the results showed that her overall power had reduced by over 11%.
Inside this sports lab, Jillian Bearden is being tested. She's part of a research study and is an ideal candidate because she was tested before she transitioned, so there's baseline data. Overall, her power is down by more than 11%.
When we look at the fastest 200-meter cycling sprint, I think they call it, the men's time was, get this, 11.5% faster. After hormone therapy, Bearden's athletic ability when it came to cycling was reduced from the cis-male range to the cis-female range, meaning that her athletic ability was no different than her cisgender counterparts. To continue, the next part of the opposition's argument is that trans women will retain muscle mass and they will retain the skeletal structure that puberty gave them. Again, I actually agree with the notion that trans women will retain some of their advantage in athletic ability, such as their on average larger frame, as well as some of the muscle mass testosterone helped them build. However, I think in most cases and in most sports, the disadvantages that trans women experience after going on HRT balance out the advantages that they experience to a point where a fair competition is totally possible. Joanna Harper, who is a medical physicist and advisor to the International Olympic Committee, as well as a transgender athlete herself, has done extensive research on the effect of hormone replacement therapy on athletic ability, specifically when it has to do with runners. Harper claims that some of the introduced disadvantages that trans women would experience after going on HRT are things such as decreased aerobic capacity as well as a decreased muscle mass. She says that these disadvantages as well as other disadvantages essentially make a trans woman perform like a big car with a small engine. I think that's like exactly the quote that she used. She compared them to a big car with a small engine.
Hormone therapy that trans women undergo makes many changes in the biological qualities that are important for sport. Trans women have bigger frames, which are now being powered by reduced muscle mass and reduced aerobic capacity. So it's like a big car with a small engine competing against a small car with a small engine.
Right,
So
it's
trans
like a
women
Buick.
have... Yeah.
Okay.
Not a Tesla.
Yeah, not a Tesla. No.
Not only does Harper's own run times decrease by 12% within the first 9 months of her hormone replacement therapy, but she also did an extensive study with 8 other transgender athletes as well. She compared their run times both before and after transitioned and used some sort of mathematical equation to compensate for aging and stuff like that. I'll link everything down in the description, obviously, so if you want to look into how she controlled for these certain things, you can do that. It's super, scientific, super, professional. So check that out. I don't know how to explain it as well as her, but the results show that runners who performed comparatively to cisgender males before their transition performed comparatively to cisgender females after their transition. Again, by transition, I mean hormonal transition, not just like a social transition. This is, introducing hormones. So the study specifically showed that male to female runners experience an approximate 10% decrease in running speeds after going on HRT. Which again, when we look at the difference between men and women's world record race times, they are 9 to 9.1% different. They're even less than that 10% difference that she found. So yet another sport, the data shows that HRT does in fact bring trans women from a cis male athletic ability to a cis female athletic ability. Moving on to the last argument opposing trans women in sports, which is that men and women are biologically different and sports are segregated because of the differences between men and women, or men are faster and stronger and blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. Can you guess what I'm going to say? Again, I agree. Men and women are obviously biologically different, and people who go through male puberty do have an undeniable advantage in sport. That is, unless they undergo hormonal transition. I do think it's a little bit ironic, though, that the opposition emphasizes the difference between cis men and cis women's athletic ability, while also supporting the USA Powerlifting's ban on all transgender men that are on testosterone. Yes, you heard me correctly, babe. Not only are all trans women banned from USA Powerlifting, just like in general, just no trans women, period. But also, all trans men who take testosterone are also banned. So you can compete as a trans man, you just have to go in like pre-testosterone, pre-T, all that kind of stuff. That's how you have to go in and compete against cisgender men. They state that since cis men aren't allowed to enhance their performance using testosterone, trans men aren't allowed to use testosterone either. Makes sense, right? No, it does not. Trans men that are going on T are aiming for the cisgender male testosterone level. Cisgender men taking performance enhancers are going to be going way over the level that trans men's testosterone would be at. So to say that it's the same thing is just illogical. If the opposition is so passionate about there being such a huge difference between people born male and people born female, wouldn't they be in favor of trans men upping their testosterone levels so that it's an evil playing field with other cisgender men? Like, you know, to keep everything fair and equal. I will admit, however, that powerlifting is a little bit of a different situation just due to the fact that the differences in results or the differences in scores, you could say, is a lot bigger than in cycling or in running. That's due to the fact that as somebody with testosterone running through your body, it's a lot easier to build a lot of muscle. While HRT does decrease muscle mass to an extent, a lot of powerlifters are not going to want to lose a lot of their muscle mass because it's, you know, something that they work so hard for. The problem here is that people with testosterone can get up to 200 to 300 pounds of pure muscle. And for people without that level of testosterone, like cisgender women, it's a lot harder and even sometimes impossible for them to get that much muscle on their body. When we look at weight classes for powerlifting, the heaviest weight class for men is 308 plus pounds, I believe. And for women, the heaviest category is 198 plus pounds. If you have a trans woman who has 300 pounds of muscle competing against somebody that is, you know, 200 pounds of muscle even, it's not going to be a fair competition. It's just not. However, if that trans woman was instead 200 pounds of muscle and that cisgender girl was also 200 pounds of muscle, I would argue that after hormone replacement therapy, a fair competition could be possible. There is, however, the concern of whether or not it's fair that trans women were able to build up so much muscle before transitioning and keeping so much of that muscle mass that is, you know, like I said, a lot harder for cisgender women to build. Even if a cisgender woman worked really, really hard, built up muscle, you still have to think about whether or not that is fair to that cisgender woman because she obviously had to work a lot harder to get that much muscle on her body. Does that make sense? So there's still like a very sticky situation. There's still like a very complex discussion to be had. And I think it does vary a lot between sport. In sports such as running and cycling, there is evidence that shows that after 12 months of hormone replacement therapy, trans women will not have much of an athletic advantage at all. Like I mentioned, there is always the concern of weight class discrepancies creating some unfair competition. And there is some validity to that concern. And because of that, I think that trans women and people in general should only compete in sports where they meet the, you know, physical requirements, such as being above or below a certain weight or above or below a certain height, all that kind of stuff. All right, you guys, that is it for this week's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that I, you know, gave you a different perspective maybe. I know that there's a lot of negativity around trans women in sports, but it shouldn't be as much of a problem as people make it out to be. I am going to be linking a lot of different articles and, you know, studies down below. So please take a look at that before you comment any like mean transphobic stuff. If you did like this video, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up down below. It really helps out my channel a lot, so thank you. Subscribe if you are not already and you would like to be. And yeah, that's it. Other than that, I think I'm going to go. So thank you guys so much for watching again, and I will see you in next week's video. Bye guys.
Around the time that he was in office, they probably get some kind of legal action or some bullshit like that or whatever. Which I mean, to be fair, no one's gonna fucking remember the story by the time he's inaugurated. But that is all just in the aid of saying that eventually someone from storyboard Disney, writer, storyboard artist. Yeah, it was a storyboard artist. It's deleted now. He's like, nah, you know, it's pretty. People don't forget. Yeah. Yeah, it says here. It says, and actually, I'm gonna pull this up because I want y'all to be able to see this shit. Here, let me pull this up. Bam, here we go. Right here. I'm gonna move this just for a moment just so y'all can kind of get the full shebang. Here we go. So it says right here. This is storyboard. Yeah, the team's storyboard revisionist Derek Malik Johnson shared a now deleted Blue Sky post that read, "So guess I finally got hit with one of the project episode I worked on is getting shelled because of which party that won the recent election. It breaks my heart knowing this impactful and amazing show is now about to be considered a lost media episode." So going a little further into that, it was in fact revealed. It was in fact revealed that someone from Disney, I don't know who it possibly could have been,
But basically, they came out and said that it actually had nothing to do with that. As a matter of fact, here's the rest of it. It says, a Disney source clarified that the decision to hold this episode was made over a year ago, and that it had nothing to do with the current political climate or the incoming administration.
Yeah, just use.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So you may or may not know, this week was actually National Coming Out Day. So happy National Coming Out Day. For this week's video in celebration of National Coming Out Day, I figured I would go back onto Omegle. Yes, our favorite app, Omegle. I'm gonna be going on and I'm just gonna straight up tell everybody like, hey, I'm filming a YouTube video for National Coming Out Day and this is me coming out. What are your thoughts? How does that make you feel? What are your thoughts on trans people? Do you hate me? Let's talk. Like, I don't know. I figured that in my other videos, you know, I kind of put people on the spot when they're with their friends or when they think that they, you know, can get away with anything. We'll see if the reactions that we get today are any different than the reactions that, you know, I've gotten in the past, which have not always been the nicest. I post new videos every Thursday, so if you guys are not subscribed, make sure that you do right now. Go ahead. I'll wait for you. Are you done? Thank you very much. And with no further ado, let's get right into this week's video. That's absolutely disgusting. Wait, I'm so sorry. That was mean of me. How are you? Oh, you're not gonna talk? Okay. Lit. Makes sense since there's no good talking points. You don't look like a Trump supporter. Don't play.
Oh, what the fuck? She's a real girl.
I'm here. Yeah, what's up?
I thought you were kidding.
Nah.
So like, can you say how many fingers do I have on the screen?
Yeah, you have 5.
Oh, so she's a real girl. Well, we are just kidding today with liberals. So I think we're gonna leave you today to be, but you're pretty and.
Wait, no, I want to wait. No. I want to talk to you too. I don't want to just. Are you filming a YouTube video?
Maybe.
I'm actually filming a YouTube video too. Can you be in mine?
Well, yes.
Okay, so this week was National Coming Out Week. So I'm coming on here and I'm like coming out to people as transgender and like asking their thoughts on the trans community.
All right.
So what are your thoughts on the trans community?
Are you one of them?
One of them? Yeah, I am trans, yeah.
All right, cool. Well, I don't know. I don't have any thoughts. It's okay for me. If they're not gonna, let's say, if they're not gonna do anything to somebody else, if they're just gonna do that for themselves, it's fine to me.
I mean, yeah. I don't know how many trans people transition for somebody else, but all right, well cool. You were real nice. Hopefully, I'll see your video someday. Am I gonna be trolled?
No, you're not. You're not. You were cool today, but.
What's your channel?
Sorry?
What's your channel?
Well, I don't think I'm gonna tell my name because well, yeah.
That's fake as hell. Just gonna rude. Hey you, what's up?
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh my god, you're so beautiful.
Aw, thank you. So this week it was National Coming Out Day, so I'm doing a little thing where I'm coming out to people on Omegle as transgender. And kind of just like asking their thoughts on the trans community. So what do you think about the trans community? What are your thoughts?
Well, I really respect transgender community. Well, I am from Morocco, and we are a Muslim country, so this is kind of forbidden thing or stuff. But honestly and personally, I respect them, and I think it's a right for them. And it's a natural thing to like being a homosexual or I don't know, a gay or a lesbian. This is like I don't know. I respect them. What about you?
That's a great. I mean, I'm trans, so I obviously support the trans community. But
I see. What's your real name?
My name is Samantha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your real one?
I mean, that is my real name. You mean my name before?
Yeah.
Okay, well that's called a dead name, so you wouldn't typically ask somebody that.
I really don't have any knowledge about that. For that, I asked you what is your real name.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Typically, you don't want to ask somebody that. It's kind of like offensive. It doesn't matter. I don't care.
Yeah.
My name was always Sam, so I just made it Samantha. You know?
Okay, I see. And I respect you so much.
Awesome. I respect you guys too. Great answer. Nice to meet you guys.
It's nice to meet you.
God damn.
What's up? Hey, I'm doing a thing for YouTube. You want to be in it?
Sure. Can I shout out my YouTube?
I mean, yeah, of course. What's your YouTube?
It's a Gray Teller.
All right,
I'll
sweet.
type it out.
Definitely put that in there. So this week was National Coming Out Week. So I'm coming on here and I'm coming out as transgender and asking people their thoughts on the trans community. So yeah, what do you think about the trans community?
I know like nothing about it, to be completely honest. Like I have nothing against it. Like do your thing. Like I'm not part of this, so you can do your thing. You know what I mean?
Right. I feel like that's
Like,
the
I'm
consensus
like
with most
neutral.
people our age. It's just like you can do whatever you want. Like I don't really care.
Yeah, I feel that. I'm just like chilling. You can do whatever. It ain't my life. Like
Right.
have fun. You know what I mean?
It was nice to meet you. Thank you for your input.
Yeah.
Go subscribe
And
to
congrats
Gray.
on coming out.
Of course. Bye.
Yeah.
I think he just asked me what was going on. I just didn't answer him. It's National Coming Out Week, so I'm asking people their thoughts on the trans community and, you know, coming out as transgender to strangers and, you know, asking them their thoughts. So, do you have any thoughts on the trans community?
But I think everyone just need to be themselves, and everyone has to chill and mind their own business and let everyone be who they are. And just live your life, like chill down.
Period. That's a great answer. I love that. Thank you very much. Nice to meet you.
Oh, thank you.
Bye.
Yeah, thank you. You too.
So, guess what? Guess what day it was this week?
Guess what?
Yeah, guess what? This week was National Coming Out Day, so I'm coming on here and I'm like coming out to people as transgender, and I'm asking people about, you know, their thoughts on the community.
You're transgender?
I am.
Whoa. That's crazy. I wouldn't tell.
Oh, so crazy in a good way? Not like crazy like, oh my god.
No, not that. It's bad that you're transgender. I was just like, you really look like a girl.
Oh, well, thanks. I did my best.
That's the goal, right?
I mean, yeah, for most people. Well, thank you very much. It was nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. What's your name?
Samantha Lux. You can find, it's going to be like a little YouTube video.
Oh, okay.
Is that okay with you?
Yeah, it's no problem.
Awesome.
You can follow me on Instagram, Black Pepper.
Do it. Follow him. Have a good night.
Thank you too.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I am fucking awesome, actually. How about you?
I'm good. Hey, so guess what?
What's that?
This week was National Coming Out Day. Or not this week, but one of these days this week was National Coming Out Day. So I'm, you know, asking people their thoughts on the trans community. I'm coming out to them as, you know, trans, all that kind of stuff. So do you have any thoughts on the trans community?
No, I think that they should be allowed to be who they are. Stuff like that. I think
that's a good opinion.
Stuff like that. Yeah. So if they feel comfy and they're like, oh, they can do that. No dramas at all for me.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Don't worry, both hands are above the table.
Good to see. Good to see. So this week it was actually National Coming Out Day. So I'm coming on here and I'm like coming out as transgender to people and asking them their thoughts on the transgender community.
Be what you want to be.
That's a good opinion. Simple and right to the point.
Exactly. Be all the same. Whatever you want to be is whatever you want to be.
There you go. That's all that matters, right?
So what transition are you?
I was born male and now I'm female.
Oh, go for it. Fuck it.
Thank you very much. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Okay, guys, that is it for this week's video. Moral of the story, at least moral that I'm trying to pull from this, people are really nice when they know that people are watching. And maybe it's because I like framed the question differently. I framed going into it a little bit differently. I don't know. I hope it was entertaining. If you guys like this video, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up right down below. It lets me know that you guys like this video and it really helps out my channel a lot. So thank you guys very much for that. Make sure that you subscribe if you are not already and you would like to be. And yeah, other than that, I think I'm going to go. So thank you guys so much for watching and I will see you in next week's video. Bye guys.
Religion that literally destroyed cultures. Like the hula. The hula, you would get put to death. Hawaiians were not allowed to do the hula because, which is wild, it was sexual. They were doing it for thousands of years, but now it's sexual. It's like those. It's like almost bearing kids for beating kids for writing with the left hand, forcing the right. Yeah. It reminds me of that thing. It's like
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Did you see that? Hi everyone. Hi everyone. I'm so annoying. I'm so sorry. I do have a shirt on, by the way. It kind of looks like I don't have a shirt on, but I do. Fear not. So in this week's video, I'm going to be talking about permanent hair removal and my experience with it. Being transgender and having transitioned a little bit later in life. I mean, I guess it was still pretty early. I transitioned at 18? 18? 17? 18? 18. I still had some body hair and some facial hair that I had to get rid of when I first transitioned. And I did that through a process of electrology and laser hair removal. So I'm going to be talking about my experience with both of those different things today. I'm also going to talk about how they work, the pain levels, the costs, all the different stuff that you really need to consider when you're going to be having permanent hair removal. I post videos every Thursday here on my channel. So if you guys are not yet subscribed, make sure that you do that right now. Go ahead. I'll wait for you. I almost started to say I'll wait for you, but I'll wait for you. Don't worry. Are you done? Thank you very much. Also, a portion of this video is sponsored by Catch Beauty, so thank you so much, Catch Beauty. We'll talk a little bit about them a little later. And with no further ado, let's get right into this week's video. So before I talk about the ways that hair can permanently be removed, it's important to first know how hair grows on our body, like the way that it grows, the cycles that it goes through to grow. Unlike other mammals, humans do not shed seasonally or, depending on the weather or anything like that. We are constantly going through 3 different cycles of hair growth, and all 3 cycles are happening simultaneously. So some hairs are in one cycle, other hairs are in the second cycle, and other hairs are in the third cycle. So it's really just all over the place. So the first phase is called the anagen phase, which is the growing phase. So in this phase, the hair is still attached to the root, but you can also see it out of the skin. For body hair, the anagen phase lasts about 2 to 3 weeks, but for hair on your head, it can last years. That's why hair on your head grows so much longer than hair on your body or like on your eyelashes or something. And the anagen phase is the target phase that you want to treat your hair follicles in. So when you're having laser hair removal, when you're having electrology, whatever it is, you want your hairs to be in the anagen phase because that is when it's going to be effective. So the second phase is called the catagen phase, and this is the beginning of shedding. So during this very temporary stage, the hair is no longer attached to the follicle or the root, and it is in the process of being shed out. Treatment is somewhat effective, but mostly ineffective in this stage as the hair is no longer attached to the root and it's no longer in the follicle. So any treatment that you apply to the hair is not actually going to reach like the source of the hair. Does that make sense? So the last and final phase is the telogen phase, and this is the resting phase. So this is the longest phase. It can last from days to years, and most of the time the hair is not even in the follicle. So you can't even see the hair follicle at all. There's no hair poking out of the skin. It's completely under the surface. Obviously, during this phase, treatment is completely ineffective because there is nothing to transfer the treatment from the hair down to the follicle. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense because I'm gonna move on. So that's why when you're having permanent hair removal, you have to go for numerous sessions because you want to catch each cycle of hair growth in the anagen phase. So you want to go 2 weeks apart once the new cycle is coming through. It'll make more sense as I talk about the treatments and how the treatments work. Don't worry about it. So there are 2 different types of permanent hair removal that I'm going to talk about today. The first one is laser hair removal. So laser hair removal basically works by taking a concentrated beam of light and heating up and basically destroying the hair follicle. Single sessions of hair removal for a certain body part or a certain area of the body can cost like $100+ per session, but you always want to look on Groupon. Little pro tip for you: you can get some like really good deals, like 80-90% off of like multiple sessions. So definitely do that. Unlike electrology, laser hair removal is most effective on people with light skin with dark hair. The way that it works is this concentrated beam of light heats up any pigmentation in the hair, and that basically brings the heat down to the follicle, destroying it. So when you have light hair and light skin, there's not a lot of contrast between the hair follicle and the skin, and that can lead to, burning of the skin even, which you want to be very careful of. I have actually had my skin burned by a laser hair removal thing. It was not fun. It hurt like a bitch. Each different salon will have a different giant laser machine, and depending on what machine they have, it'll be either better or less effective for the type of hair that you have in combination with your skin tone. Personally, when I first started my hair removal treatment, I don't even know what laser they were using, but I do know that it was super painful and it was not that effective. So there is definitely a difference between the lasers that the people use. I found the best results for me came from lasers that were called Alexandrite lasers. I don't know the exact whatever, but the salon that I went to that had it, not only was it the most painless of all the different laser machines that I used, it was the most effective by far. Like literally she did my underarms, which she did it for free also. Like the person I went to was so nice. Love her. Shout out to you, girl. I also did have several hours of electrology. She wasn't just giving it to me for free. She was like, all right, you suffered through that. I'll do this for you. But the machine that she used, she zapped it. It was virtually painless. I felt a little bit of heat heating up, I smelled a little bit of like the hair burning, which like is a good thing. You want to smell the hair burning because it means that it's actually working, you know? Like I said, it was painless, I could smell it, and also 2 to 3 weeks later, I could literally like, the hairs were falling out. So obviously when you go to have, well not obviously because I didn't talk about it yet, but when you go to have laser, you have to shave as close to the skin as you can, so you're not removing all of the hair underneath. So when you shave, you're just cutting it and there's still hair underneath like the skin. So that hair will get treated, it'll get fried, it'll get zapped, whatever happens. And then a few weeks later, that hair will shed out. Like it'll literally just fall out. I never noticed any of that type of stuff happening with the initial laser that I went to. Again, I don't know what laser it was. I wish I did to tell you like, oh, don't use this one if you have like dark hair, light skin like I do, like don't. It's not that good. But I can say that the Alexandrite lasers, so good, so good. I think the specific one they used was like the Gentleys. Like, I don't know how to spell it. I'll just like, it's on the screen, you're welcome. So for laser hair removal, the pain was probably like a 3 to 5 out of 10, depending on what area that they would do. So obviously over like the upper lip where the skin is really, really thin, it's super painful, like it hurts so bad. Literally so bad. That being said, the pain was nowhere near the amount of pain that I experienced when I was doing electrology, but I'll get into that when I talk about electrology. And then for aftercare, again, it's super simple. You'll be a little bit red, maybe a little bit like sensitive, but you won't be swollen at all. You'll be pretty much fine. Usually they just put a little bit of like an SPF or like a moisturizer on and just say like, oh, stay out of the sun for 24 hours and like you're good to go. Like I mentioned, I did have a little bit of a burn one time from laser hair removal. I think it was because she went kind of high where I had like just peach fuzz. So obviously I didn't shave the peach fuzz off my face. So it was literally just like, like frying the hairs on the top of my skin. So I think that's what did it. I did have a really good result from that treatment. So no pain, no gain, right? Shit. As for the results kind of vary. I've actually seen results within the same day. Obviously, you don't see the hairs falling out of your face afterwards, but I would go in and it would feel a little bit like prickly, you know? Like, that's awful to say because, like, ew. But then afterwards, I would come out, it would be like a baby's bottom. It would be so smooth. I don't even understand how that happened. They just, like, literally just, like, fried off the hair, but it was real nice, I won't lie. But technically, it is supposed to take a couple weeks to see the full results of that treatment, just because you have to wait for the hair that was underneath the skin to fall out. The permanentness, is that a thing? Permanentness? I don't know. I can't even say it. Like, the amount of permanentity, I just have to stop talking. How permanent laser hair removal is very debated. Some people say that it just kind of like disrupts the hair from growing for a long period of time and then it'll eventually come back. I don't really know if that's true. All of my treatments have been within the last 5 years, so maybe that's not a long enough period for them to start growing again, but I don't know if that's true or not. But it is something to keep in mind. So that's pretty much it for laser hair removal that you get done in salons. I want to talk a little bit now about IPL. So IPL is another type of laser, just like Alexandrite lasers versus different types of lasers. It's just another type. However, instead of using a super concentrated beam of light, it uses an array of light. So it's generally not as effective as the laser hair removal treatment that you would get done in a salon, but it is a lot more affordable and you can do it literally from the privacy of your own home. So this is the part of the video where I'm going to introduce this bad boy. Like I said, this portion of the video is sponsored. However, full disclosure, I have tested this on myself and I've seen legitimate results. I won't say that I'm completely hairless in these areas, but she works. Okay, she works. This is great if you have like a little something that you want to take care of, but you don't necessarily want strangers all up in there. If you know what I'm talking about. You might be thinking, girl, there's no way that thing will permanently delete my hair, like it's a computer. Will permanently get rid of my hair, but first of all, I've tried it on myself and I've seen legitimate results. But also, this might be kind of gross, but you can literally smell it. Like, you know how I said earlier in the salon, you can literally smell the hair follicle burning? Bitch, you can smell this shit working. Like, I was like, all right, yeah, it could just be like heating up. It could just be like zapping me or like shocking me or something, but I don't think so. I mean, maybe they're fooling me and they got like a scented something in here to smell like burning hair, but I think it works. Okay, so I plugged it in and as you can see, this little green light is flashing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna hold it for like a second. You hear it? As you can see on the front, it has this little light indicator. So when you press the button on the back, you can go up in level. So there's a level 1, then it goes all the way up to level 5, depending on the strength that you wanted to use, depending on like the darkness of your hair, all that kind of stuff. I'm just gonna like do it on my hand just to like show you guys. Also, it has a little sensor right here, so like you can't, like even if you push the button, if it's not against your skin, it won't do anything. So you don't like flash yourself in the eye. It has like a little safety feature. We love that. Flash warning, because it is very bright. So if you have some sort of like flash thing, maybe like skip 10 seconds. Basically what you do is you put it on and you just go along the area that you shaved, that you're trying to remove the hair from, and you do that. I'm gonna turn it off because like I don't know if that's like disrupting the audio. I'm kind of a no pain, no gain type of person, so I usually crank it up to like a level 5. Unless I'm doing like sensitive areas where I want to be a little bit more careful, then I'll put it down to like a 3 and then maybe work my way up. So yeah, that's this little guy. Love him. Thank you so much, Catch Beauty, for sponsoring this portion of the video. And now let's talk about electrology, my fave. So if you didn't know, I was being sarcastic. Electrology is definitely not my favorite. So electrology is basically when they take a needle or like a metal probe and they put it into each separate hair follicle, and then a small electric current will go through that needle and zap the hair follicle and essentially do the same thing as laser. It will burn and disrupt the hair follicle and, you know, stop it from growing. The best part of electrology is it works on all different skin types and all different hair textures and hair colors. Costs for electrology vary a lot, but the main difference is that they charge per hour instead of like per area of the body. Similar to laser hair removal, you can get some really good discounts on Groupon, different websites like that. So definitely make sure that you look up coupons before you go and commit thousands of dollars to these sessions because they're definitely a little bit pricey. Electrology is generally super effective when the hair is treated. However, it's really painful. So when I was doing electrology, I would book myself for an hour, but I could never make it through the hour just because I had to give up because I was in so much pain. And because of that, it left a lot of untreated hair for each of those cycles. So if you go every 2 to 3 weeks and you clear out all of the hair, you would be getting each anagen phase, you'd be wiping all of them out. So eventually when those cycles were to come back up, you would have no hairs coming back up. But since I had to quit halfway through each time, the hairs never completely went away. Yeah, it might have been reduced because I treated some of the hair follicles, but then, you know, 4 months later, however many months later, when that same cycle reappears, there's still so many hairs that were untreated that are now coming back through, and I have to keep going and keep going and keep going. And because of that, the number of treatments that people have for electrology is generally a lot higher than it is for laser hair removal. So I don't know if I mentioned, but laser hair removal, you generally are gonna have 4 to 8 sessions, up to 12 sessions if, like I said, the laser is not as effective on you. But with electrology, the average is from 8 to 12 sessions, and I believe that's because people usually cannot clear their whole entire face or the whole area in one sitting. For trans people or people with a lot of hair that they want to clear and they want to make sure that all of it is clear, you can actually do like lidocaine injections or like inject some sort of numbing agent into the area beforehand to make it like bearable. I actually had this done a couple times on both my face and like my lower area before I had my bottom surgery. I actually had it done after my trachea shave. So if you watch my trachea shave vlog from a few years ago, you'll see me like super swollen, like ridiculously swollen. And that's because they spent literally 3.5 hours zapping each specific hair on my face. Each like individual little hair follicle was being zapped and plucked out with tweezers, and it's just, it was a lot. It was painful. I've also heard of people going to electrologists that are somewhat close to like a dentist office. So before they go and have a few hours of electrology done, they can stop in by their dentist, and their dentist can give them some like lidocaine shots or some numbing shots or whatever they do. And then, you know, they're good for their treatment. There are some places that will actually give you the shots like in the same building, but that's not generally, like, it's not generally something that they do. So the preparation for electrology sucks. I hated preparing for electrology, and that's simply because you have to grow your hair out. They need to have a hair follicle to grab onto with tweezers to be able to like stick the needle in, you know? So you have to give them a little bit of length with the hair. And especially if you're a trans woman with dark facial hair, it was brutal having to grow my facial hair out for even 5 days before I went in. So that's just another reason why I preferred laser hair removal. I mean, I guess if you have lighter hair, growing it out wouldn't be as obvious, but for me, as somebody with really dark hair, it was just miserable. After you have electrology done, you're gonna be super like raw and sore because they're literally sticking needles into each one of your hair follicles. To be fair, they are like microscopic needles. They're very tiny, like you can barely see it, but still, you're getting poked a lot, okay? As soon as they treat each hair, they pluck it out, so you're gonna see the results immediately. Overall, my recommendations would definitely be to try laser hair removal first, but be careful not to get like played. Some of these salons can definitely play you, especially if you have like full blonde everywhere. Don't. It's probably not worth it for you if you have full blonde hair because it's not going to be super effective. So if they're trying to sell you 12 sessions of laser hair removal for your blonde hair, you might be getting ripped off. Do your research, trying to find a laser that will be effective for you and give it a shot. If you think it's effective, keep going with laser and get as much of that dark hair out as possible. And then I would suggest going in with electrology afterwards to kind of clean it up. That's what I did anyways, because while most of the hair on my body was really dark, I did have some like red hairs and some blonde hairs that didn't really go away with laser, so I did have to clean those up afterwards with electrology. But yeah, I feel like I've been talking so fast for like an hour. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. I hope you learned something. I can't even speak English anymore. If you did, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up down below. It really helps out my channel a lot, so I'd really appreciate it. Also, subscribe if you are not already and you would like to be. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, all those good things. And yeah, other than that, I think I'm gonna go. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in next week's video. Bye, guys.
Yeah, it's kind of funny when you can't do that anymore.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. First of all, I want to say thank you guys so much for 300,000 subscribers. That is insane to me. I know that's literally like what everybody would say. That's insane to me, but like 300,000 people? That's ridiculous. I can't even like fathom that number. It warms my heart, so thank you. Also, my hair is straight today. You guys were like asking me how long my hair is. I am wearing sweatpants, so I'm not gonna get up. But like, bitch! I love my hair in a ponytail when it's straight. It's just so fun to like move around and stuff. I'm like, what is that? So in this week's video, I'm going to be reacting to transphobic comments, hate comments, mean comments, creepy comments. Also, I feel like it's not just mean comments sometimes. Sometimes it's just like really like unsettling stuff. I'm just like, oh, please just calm down. I cannot be dealing with that right now. Also, obviously, I'm going to be reading some mean comments today. Most of the time, these comments are coming from people that have no idea who trans people are. They don't understand us. They don't get us. They see a trans person, they just go off. They just type, you know what I'm saying? If you're a young trans person or a trans person of whatever age, don't take this to heart. People love you. I love you. You're going to be fine. It's going to be great. And also, if you guys can do me a favor and just go into the comments and spread some love. Say hi to somebody else. Like, spread some positive comments, okay? There's enough negative transphobic comments on this page. We don't need any more. I post videos every single Thursday, so if you are not yet subscribed, make sure that you do that right now. Go ahead. I'll wait for you. Are you done? Thank you very much. Also, follow me on Instagram and Twitter to keep as up to date with me. Up to date with me? What am I trying to say? Up to date with me? To keep as up to date as possible with me. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Just follow me on Instagram. Let's start the video.
She's from the street. Samantha from the street.
Okay, which side should I sit? The metal straws and Red Bull cans? Absolutely horrendous. Absolutely awful. I do like the blueberry one. That's good. Sponsor me, Red Bull. Hey. So I screenshotted a bunch of comments. A lot of these comments are from my timeline video. So if you guys haven't seen it, I have a few videos that are like timeline videos that basically just show my transition really sped up so you can see the process really clearly. Those videos usually do pretty well on my channel, so they get a lot of traction from people that aren't necessarily supportive of the trans community, and therefore I get a lot of comments from people that aren't accepting of the LGBT community, and we get comments like this. This person said, "This sick individual is still a man, if he likes it or not. No one except God can decide that." Bitch, I am God. Are you kidding me? God is a motherfucking trans woman. Hey. I'm just kidding. Don't worry, I don't think that I'm God. My thing is like, if you're gonna call somebody sick or like mentally ill, how are you just gonna attack them for that? Like, that's like saying, "Hi, you have cancer. You sick weirdo. How dare you have that illness?"
But that's not what you
It's a
said
little
last
mean,
night.
no? It's a little harsh. Mike Johnson says, "You are a horrible person." This is a literal timeline video. Like, I haven't even spoken to you. This is just pictures of my face. Like, what did I do to you, girl? What did I do to you, Mike? Oh, did I say Johnson? His name is Jemison. Stupid ass name. I'm sorry if your name's Jemison. It's not that stupid. You are a man, not a woman. You are born with a penis. You do not get to choose your gender. I'm sorry for making fun of like the spelling errors. It's just so funny to me. You do not get to choose your gender. That's correct. You're right. I don't. That's why I am transgender. That's why I'm here. I hate this. They're like, you don't get to choose your gender. You're literally making an argument for our side. You don't get to choose your gender. You can't just switch your gender up. You can't force me to be a girl if I'm not a girl. You can't force me to be a boy if I'm not a boy. And, you know, I'm a girl. That's the thing. That's just how it is. So fuck off. That's terrible. You changed your body into bitch. All women go to hell. God made you male. It's a present of life. But you changed yourself. There's a lot. That's a lot. First of all, that's sexist as hell. All women go to hell? Like, calm down. You're like I don't understand people's logic. Like, God made you male. It's a present of life. So he's saying that I'm not a woman, but also I'm going to hell because I'm a woman. Huh? Whatever. Anyways, Javier said, "This is creepy as hell." Like, all caps. Creepy as hell. Bitch, I'm the creepy one? Me? Let's take a quick peek at this person. I'm so sorry, but sir, you look kind of creepy. You're the creepy looking one. I'm so sorry to be the one to break this to you, but like, you came after me first. You deserve it. Okay, this one's kind of long. You're male. What's so difficult to understand why a straight man doesn't want to pursue a relationship with someone who has the same chromosomes? You should tell them your old penis is now your fake... I don't want to like say these words. And seeps... I don't even... I hate... And if you stop taking meds, you will grow a beard. My, and I thought trans females weren't interested in straight men. You will never be a woman. Ever! Ever! Calm down. Calm down. Calm down. Calm down. I fucking love TikTok. I'm gonna ignore the whole chromosome thing because, like, I don't have time for you, miss. You don't even have a name. VooTube? VooTube? Okay. VooTube379. I think this was on a video of a story time where I, like, didn't tell the guy that I was transgender. So they're like, you should tell them, blah, blah, blah. Like, you semen.
What I'd like you to do is apologize instead of being a bitch.
Girl, what? Who told you that? Who made that up? Who told you that false information? No, I do not. And then, if you stop taking your meds, you will grow a beard. Sister, no! That's not true! I mean, maybe before I had bottom surgery, but now that I, like, have had bottom surgery and there's nothing in my body that produces testosterone, even if I didn't take my estrogen, like, I wouldn't go back to being a boy. I just would have very low estrogen levels and be very unhealthy. And then the last part, I thought trans females weren't interested in straight men. Who told you that? Where are you reading this? Who told you that? I exclusively date straight men. Well, I mean, like, I would date a bi man too, or like a pansexual man. Any man that's attracted to women is who I would date. You know what I'm saying? If I wasn't attracted to straight men or men that were attracted to women, who would I be attracted to? Or who would be attracted to me? Gay men? Do you think a gay man wants all this fucking Ariana Grande ponytail? I don't think so. Maybe to borrow, but I just cleared my throat for this one because I'm like already like preparing. You have manly features and sound like a man. I genuinely don't know how you think you could pass. The man must have been really stupid. Again, this was a comment on the video where I didn't tell the guy I was transgender, blah, blah, blah. Hate me if you want, I don't give a fuck. Manly feet. Hold on, honey. Oh, I wish you had a profile picture too. I'm sorry, I don't like to make fun of people's looks, but it's always the bitches that like... I'm curious as to what manly features they're talking about because like I always shoot from here to here, so like what? What is it, bitch? Tell me. What? My hands? My little tiny little girl hands? What do you mean? Here's some tart shape tape. How about that? Bitch! Manly hands. Fight me, bitch. Fight me. The next comment says, it's a procedure that mutilates a penis and leaves the person with an open flesh wound. Disgusting. Keep the dicks. I think this might be from a chaser, which is like a person that dates trans women for like a sexual fetish thing, you know? Like when a girl like has those parts. I say that because they're like making an argument for trans women to not have surgery. They're like, keep them, keep your penis, don't get rid of it, please. And it just gives me very much like chaser vibes. But I wanted to respond to this one because I feel like it's a very common like misconception that when they do bottom surgery, it just like stays like a wound. Like it's just like an open wound. They'll say like, oh, well just because you have a gash in your body or a wound that you have to dilate to keep open. Girl, no, ew. That is not what it is at all. That's like really awful and painful sounding, but it's definitely not a wound. She's fully healed. It's just like the normal tissues that should be there, you know what I'm saying? Material.
I'm gonna, you know what, it's gonna be simple and funny to the point. Okay, and then I'm like, I'm gonna do that. And then I'm gonna be like, hey fuckers, like now I wanna do a fucking custom song. That's gonna kind of make fun of not, I don't wanna say the topic, but just something, I needed something super quick. You know, you do that. Alright? Like that's why it's gonna be great. That's why it's gonna be funny. You mean what song you want the machine to whatever. Okay. Yeah, fine. Machine, I don't care. Okay? Like look, I don't make porn, but I jerk off to it, alright? Like there's that. Okay?
Imperial Girl says, I've never been to this channel before, but you sound like a man and your neck looks manly. You're very clockable if you're supposed to be trans.
My last pickup is
I'll fucking... Honestly, I'm a little hurt, I won't lie. The voice comments just get me. They get me good. If you want to hurt my feelings, just be like, you sound like a fucking truck driver. I'm like, true. Period, you're right. But like my neck. Bitch, where? What are you talking about? Stupid. These comments kind of make me laugh. I think they're kind of funny. But Logan Jerome says, that's the prettiest man I've ever seen. Like, nice. You were nice, I guess. You missed the mark by a lot. But I mean, I think you're trying to be nice. No, you're not. You're definitely not trying to be nice. You're just trying to, you know, I know what you're doing. But I'm like, you could have said I was an ugly man. Shit. Thanks. Mr. Andrew Lee says, I need to be careful picking any nice looking, I'm assuming that he was going to say woman or girl. They might be a male. I like how they intentionally left out the article. So they're like, any nice looking, they don't want to say girl. They don't want to say any nice looking girl. So they just like left it blank. Like, but you could say it. You can say it. Say it. Say it, bitch. Just kidding. Monica with the red shade says, bro, you're gay. Bitch. I wish I was gay. You think I want to date straight men? Fuck no. Alright, you guys, that is enough of the mean comments for this video, at least. If you guys like this video, I'm totally down to do more. These comments don't really get to me anymore. Like, I know I was joking around and saying, like, oh, that one hurt, but, like, they don't really get to me that much anymore. Like, after seeing so many hateful comments, it's kind of just like, okay, bitch, and what? And what? But I know I do have a lot of very young, very impressionable trans people watching my videos, and I really don't want them to be seeing all of these negative comments every time they go into the comment sections. So yeah, like I said earlier, if you guys could just leave some positivity down below, especially if you see people being mean to others. Like, it just breaks my heart so much. I think in my last video, somebody commented saying they were about to transition, and it was a very young person, and they had like a ton of responses, and so I went and I looked, and I was so afraid that people were going to be being mean to them and saying like, oh, you shouldn't transition this young, blah, 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 just a bunch of like nonsense, you know? But you guys really pulled through. You guys were so supportive of them in the comments, and it just like, you guys are so great. Like, I just love you guys so much. There's so much hate, especially on the internet, so I hope this video kind of made you feel less alone. Hopefully I helped you laugh at some of the mean comments that maybe you've heard, or just provided, you know, a fun little space for a little while. Whatever it is, I'm just glad I could help. If you guys did like this video, please make sure to subscribe right down below. It really helps out my channel a lot. Hit the little bell so you don't miss out when I post a new video, because, you know, you never know, you could miss it. Make sure that you give this video a big thumbs up down below, and that's it. Other than that, I think I'm going to go. So thank you guys so much for watching this week's video, and I will see you next week. Bye, guys.
That is the pinnacle. That is the apex of human creativity. That's the whole thing. That's what you guys don't understand about AI. It's not destroying anything. It allows you to...
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. You guys loved my brown hair in my last video. Fun fact, it's a wig and I made it. Not me being a wig maker. Is it cute? Do you love it? Do you love it? Thank you so much. I assume you said yes. If not, you. When I was a little baby YouTuber, one of my first videos that really popped off was a reacting to transphobic memes video. And ever since that video and the similar videos that I've made after that video, I've really developed a newfound love for transphobes. Well, I wouldn't say love, but I would say admiration for their comically bad memes. I just appreciate it. You know, I appreciate a really badly done meme. I do. A good meme is good, but a bad meme, even better, baby. Today's video is going to be another installment of reacting to anti-trans or transphobic memes. I've compiled a bunch of them. My name is Samantha Lux. I post new videos every single week here on my channel where I give you guys my opinion or my perspective as a transgender woman who studied media. So if you guys are not yet subscribed and you would like to be, go ahead and do that right now. I'll wait for you. Go ahead. Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. Are you done? Thank you very much. I also have an Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all those different things, so make sure to follow me over there to keep us up to date with me as possible. I also have a Twitch channel that I play Nintendo games on every single week, so if you guys like Nintendo games or you just want to hang out with me for a little while, definitely follow me over on Twitch and come hang out with me when I'm live. And finally, I do have a Patreon, so if you guys like the work that I do here on my channel and you want to support me and potentially win a cute little 3D printed little thing that I made, I 3D printed it, definitely consider signing up for Patreon. Even one of the lowest paid tiers gives you the opportunity to win one of these. But yeah, with no further ado, let's get into today's memes. 8-year-old, I've decided to be trans. Parent, that's right, big smile. Everyone's happy. I've been getting into The Simpsons lately. I have to admit, I was never a big fan of it, except for The Simpsons movie for some reason. Loved that shit. You gotta love transphobic memes. Like, the gag is, what 8-year-old does not look like that after they steal a little bit of mom's makeup? After they go to the carnival, get a little face paint. You know what I'm talking about? They look fantastic. Okay, now being the trans activist, the trans advocate that I am, I do have to correct some of the misinformation here, some of the misunderstandings that are at play in this meme. First of all, the language, right? Nobody decides to be trans. People just decide to be themselves. People decide to live authentically. Maybe they realize that they're trans, but nobody makes a decision to be trans or to become trans. It's who we are. It's how we're born, you know? That also applies to trans kids, right? Trans kids don't decide to be trans. They just know who they are. They just say, this is who I am. Why are you calling me a boy when I feel like a girl? Also, the other obvious piece of misinformation, parents are not forcing their kids to be trans. Good old-fashioned trans housing by proxy, as people call it, you know, where parents are forcing their kids to be trans. That's not real. I mean, maybe there are extreme examples of that happening, but for the majority of trans kids, and literally every single trans kid that I've met personally, they just know who they are, and that's just who they are. And typically, if we do want to go along with this narrative, this illustration that, you know, there's a parent holding a gun to their kid and forcing them to do something that they want, typically the parent that's doing that in a situation regarding a trans kid is an unsupportive parent, right? They're forcing their kid to not be trans. They're forcing their kid to wear boy clothes because they were born male. They're forcing them to live a life that is not comfortable for them and then telling them to be happy anyways. Is that not what the meme is depicting? The call is coming from inside the house, Miss Girl. Also, the Simpsons are woke, so they would never. Mommy, is that a man or a woman? It's a Democrat, honey. Yeah, you're darn too, and I'm a third gender. Male, female, Democrat, liberal. That's what they want, right? And here's the tea. She looks great. She probably has very based views. Do you want to debate? It's just so painfully obvious that transphobes have nothing to attack other than our looks, which a lot of times are based on stereotypes to them. Personally, I don't see the resemblance. But yes, we are voting for Kamala here, honey. It also is just very like revealing to how dehumanizing some of these people can be. That's a person, you know what I mean? Is that a man or a woman? That's a human being. Like, what do you mean? That's just a Democrat. No, that's Cheryl. She lives next door. But also I just can't get over the idea of a little girl being like, is that a man or a woman? Mummy, a man or a woman over there? Mummy, define woman. Mummy, what is a woman? Like, it's just not that deep. But that little girl more likely would have said, Mummy, can I have pink hair like that? Mummy, I love that lipstick. Parents, if you wear that, it'll make you look like a boy. Me. Yeah, I sure hope it does. In the face. Oh my god, I have a very similar story. I think I might have told this on my channel before, but before I came out as like anything before I even came out as like being attracted to guys, I was like looking at cars to buy and I was looking at a Mini Cooper and my brother goes, oh, we want like a Mini Cooper that's gay. I don't know. We love Mini Coopers here. In that moment, I had come up to like some people, but obviously not him. So I just kind of like sat there like, And that is how he found out that I liked guys, by calling something that I liked gay and then having me be like, well, yeah, babe, that's the point. Like, you're catching on. Come on, connect the dots with me. Dad called last night to check in on how I was feeling after my breast reduction and say, I bet that's a huge weight off your chest. Dad jokes are 100% better from trans affirming dads. Yay. Oh, this one wasn't transphobic. I just had to put like a little palate cleanser in. You know what I mean? A nice little dose of supportiveness. Dads, you can still have cringy dad jokes and be a supportive ally dad. Oh my god, this one you guys are gonna like. This one you'll like. Me, when my father tells me with a straight face that HRT is made out of fetuses. It's funny how dumb you are. Is that a thing? People are thinking that. That's what the conspiracy theorists are onto. That's what the transphobes are onto. I don't even know how to feel. I really don't. They said they're killing babies and they're also using them for their medicine. Double whammy, bitch. Double fucking whammy. What's that meme? Oof. Double homicide. Babies actually have very low amounts of estrogen in them, so that would not be very effective, babe. That's not what we need. No. I hate trans people. They can all burn. They suck. Why? What? Oh. Ooh. Happens to the best of us, babe. Well, actually, not me. I was kind of always a perfect ally. Did you guys ever do that? Were you guys ever transphobic before you came out as trans? Or if you aren't trans, I wonder why people do that. Actually, I think I know why. It's the self-hate pouring out onto other people, right? Like, get a grip, bestie. We all have some self-hate in there, but just like, go to therapy. That's so easy to say. Just go to therapy. You guys, I actually just started therapy again recently. It's so helpful. It is just so lovely. I feel like I'm a real person again. Men with high T are quote unquote biological men. Men can't get pregnant. Every transphobe right now. Yeah, it's always the cognitive dissonance with those people, isn't it? It's like when you're growing up and you're like a feminine boy and people are always like, you're such a girl, you're such a cell, you always act like such a girl, like stop being such a girl. And then you transition into a girl and they're like, you're a man. You'll always be a man. You've always been a man. I'm like, you've never once called me a man in my whole life. And now all of a sudden I don't want to be a man and now I'm a man. So I'm pretty sure this meme is referring to the Olympic situation with Iman Khalif. I did make a whole video about the situation, so if you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch that video, go ahead. But transphobes really do just be making things up. They just say anything that sounds scientific. They love the pseudoscience. They love the, well, technically speak, but they never actually have the actual science or the actual technicalities to go behind it. So they end up creating these phrases like women with high T are biological men or men can't get pregnant that contradict each other in the real world. They construct these extremely binary points of view with the sole intention of excluding trans people and writing trans people out of science, whatever, and then try to apply those same things to the general population, not even just to trans people, but they still don't work because real life, the greater population of people is not that binary, is not that clear cut, if you will. Some women maybe just have more testosterone than other women. That's just how their body is. It doesn't mean that they're not a woman. It just means that they're a woman with high testosterone. I think as a society, as a population, well, maybe not here on this channel because, you know, we're just so amazing here on this channel, but I wish society would get into the habit of creating language that is purposefully inclusive rather than exclusive and then creating exceptions to that exclusion. You know what I mean? They say, well, everybody's either male or female, well, except for these exceptions, like all of these intersex people and, you know, people with these differences in sexual development and all of these other people. So maybe instead of saying everybody is either male or female, we say most people are male or female, but there are people in between. Or sex is a bimodal or whatever fucking terminology you want to use. We just need to be more specific, maybe. I don't know. I don't fucking know. This is a meme video. Let's not get too technical, okay? Transphobes calling me it. Me. Its are my preferred pronouns. Transphobes. Again, I'm going to relate with my own experience, not to make it all about myself, but it's like people from my past that used to like call me a girl and say she, her as an insult. I'm like, go ahead, say it again. Go ahead, throw that at me now. Go ahead, try it. See if it hurts now. Oh my God, another button meme. Another button meme. Trans boys aren't really boys. They're still girls. Or Tampon Tim gave tampons to boys. MAGAs. Tampon Tim. Tampon Tim. Tampon Tim. Why does it say Tampon Tim gave tampons to boys? I don't even understand that. Let's look it up. Governor Tim Walz signed into law last May that public schools would be required to provide free menstrual products to all students who needed them beginning in 4th grade. That sounds nice to me. That sounds pretty lit to me. Opponents, including former President Donald Trump, have accused the governor of a heavy-handed campaign to place tampons and pads in boys' restrooms for transgender students, tying it to a broader conservative backlash over Walz's support for LGBTQ rights. Her running mate approved, signed into legislation, tampons in boys' bathrooms, said Trump. Ooh. So he gives tampons to everybody and they're like, no! That is just so embarrassing for people. Like, imagine calling somebody out on providing free products to students who need said products. Imagine complaining about that. Imagine thinking that's a bad thing, that he's giving away free menstrual products. Well, he's not giving it away, but you know what I mean. TERFs, when someone tries to restrict cis women's bodily autonomy. No. I love a SpongeBob meme, first of all. Sorry. Also TERFs, when they try and restrict trans people's bodily autonomy. Tee-hee, tee-hee, hoo-hoo. Again, it's that cognitive dissonance, right? Transphobes cannot create any arguments that do not hurt cis people. Oh my God, another like Olympic one. We can't let trans women compete on girls' teams because they have distinct biological advantages. Meanwhile, cis people. Literally, like, are we forgetting something, everybody? Are we forgetting that variation in bodies is everywhere, not just with trans people, right? Like, imagine the tall girl was trans. First of all, I'm surprised they didn't try to call her trans. You know what I mean? How they were doing that to everybody. Like, she's tall, she could be trans. Anyways, I'm glad they didn't. I'm not, I'm not saying to do it. I'm just, maybe because she's white. I don't know. But it's like the same thing with Michael Phelps. Doesn't he have like an extraordinarily long wingspan or something like that? A biological advantage, Hanny? Get him out. Get him out of here. Trans girls. No. X-Men. How has this not come to my attention before? Why have I not been informed of this? No, that's incredible. We are the X-Men. Yeah. First we were Transformers, now we're the X-Men. We're taking over. All right, you guys, on that note, on the note of taking over, that is it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it all the way to the end, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here. If you like this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe right down below. I post new videos every single week here on my channel, and I'd love to have you come back, so please hit subscribe. But yeah, other than that, I think I'm gonna go. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, everyone.
Because the judge apparently didn't quite like the optioning system, how they planned on doing it. Because apparently other, like Roger Stone is trying to bid on info rules. And they obviously don't want Roger Stone to have it.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be dispelling, is that the word? Dispelling, debunking. I'm going to be talking about the myths that people have about bottom surgery, or the myths that people believe about bottom surgery. I feel like there are so many misconceptions about what bottom surgery means for trans women, and I'm just going to be like going through them all and telling you guys the reality of it. I had it in late July of 2016, so it's been a little bit over 4 years. And yeah, I feel like I have a pretty good grasp of what you can expect when you go through the surgery. I post videos every single Thursday here on my channel. I'm trying to start posting twice a week as well, so keep your eye out. You might see a video from me on a Monday sometime, maybe next week, who knows? But yeah, if you're not yet subscribed, go ahead and do that right now. I'll wait for you. Are you done? Thank you very much. And with no further ado, let's get right into this week's video. So just a quick little disclaimer before I start this video. I am going to be talking about some of these sexual functions of, bottom surgery. I will also be talking about other anatomical functions as well, but I just want to give that little disclaimer. This is for educational purposes, but if that does make you uncomfortable, go ahead and click off now. Bye, bitch. So I wrote down about 10 myths that I'm gonna be talking about in this video. Some of the myths kind of go hand in hand, so I don't know if they're gonna be exactly 10 myths or if I'm just gonna like pile some of them into one. So it's around 10, okay? It's around 10. The first myth, and one that I feel like is one of the most common myths that people believe, is that once you have bottom surgery, you're not gonna feel anything down there, or that you are giving up any sexual sensation or any sexual function when you decide to have this surgery. In my experience, that has not been the case at all. If you go to the right surgeon, if you go to somebody that is experienced with this surgery, you're not going to be losing any sexual pleasure or any sexual functions at all. Obviously, the way that you feel pleasure and stuff like that is going to change, but it's not like you're just going to lose all sensation down there. At least that's something that I didn't experience, and something that, all the people that went to my surgeon did not experience. And I don't think I've really even heard of any people that have had surgery with any like reputable with any good surgeon. I don't think I've heard of anybody experiencing, total sensation loss. The second myth that I'm going to talk about today, and like I said, it kind of goes hand in hand, but this is the belief that after surgery, everything down there is going to feel extremely fake or extremely foreign to both you and your partner. And honestly, in my experience, this is somewhat true. Right after surgery, and even for a couple of years after surgery, everything down there feels very, very foreign. I won't say that it feels like it's not part of your body, but it definitely feels a little strange, Everything is moved around, everything is in new places, and your body has to kind of remap where everything is located. And for me, it was such an intense surgery that I really didn't want to have anything going on down there. I didn't want to have anybody down there for a long time after surgery, just because I wanted to make sure that I was, gonna be okay. But to speak to the myth, I would say that fake feeling or the foreign feeling that you experience right after surgery goes away within the first couple of years. It might even go away sooner if you are, more actively trying to figure stuff out down there. But in terms of sensation for your partner, I don't think that it ever felt foreign or fake to the people that I was with. So yeah, that's just not true. The third myth, or the third misconception that I feel like is super, super common again, is the belief that once you have bottom surgery, you won't be able to self-lubricate the same way that a cisgender woman would. The reality of this myth is that it varies a lot between people, and it varies a lot between the type of surgery that you have done. There are a few different ways that this surgery can be done. They can use parts of internal organs, or sometimes they just use, the external tissues that you have going on down there, which is the version that I had. And the procedure that I had done, the way that my surgeon did it, he said that there would be about a 50% chance that I would be able to self-lubricate after surgery. Not to give too much information out or anything, but I actually can self-lubricate. Most of the time it is enough for, I can't even fucking see. Most of the time it is enough lubrication for penetration, but sometimes, you have to add a little bit of a synthetic lubricant in, if you know what I'm talking about. I'm just gonna move on. This is TMI. So the next myth, again, all of these kind of run into each other, but I do want to make them as clear as possible. The next myth that I'm going to be talking about today is that you cannot have penetrative sex. Again, this kind of depends on what surgery you have done. For me, I had, full depth vaginoplasty, so I had, they gave me as much depth as they could, but there are other procedures such as no depth or, limited depth vaginoplasty, in which they don't actually use all of the tissue and create as long of a vaginal canal. They do this for a few reasons. If you're not going to be having I can't say it. If you're not going to be doing that kind of stuff, there wouldn't really be a point to doing all of that, because it is a lot harder of a recovery and there is a lot more aftercare that you have to do. So if you're not going to be using those parts, there's not really any point to doing it. The next myth is that once you have bottom surgery, you won't be able to finish, or you won't be able to have an orgasm. Again, this one is not true. Obviously, if you go to a, a bad surgeon and they botch you, that might happen to you. You might lose some sensation and stuff down there, but with most surgeons, with most good, experienced surgeons, you're not gonna be losing any type of sensation or any type of ability to orgasm. This is so, too much. This is just not the type of person that I am. I don't like to talk about this kind of stuff, but it's important. I know that y'all are curious. So the version that I had done allows me to get there two different ways, the same ways that, cisgender women would get there. Both of them work great. The next myth, and I kind of touched on this one a little bit in my last video, and it is that, the area that you have surgery will never heal, and it's just like an open wound or an open gash that you have to dilate to keep open. That is not at all accurate, not at all true, and honestly sounds super, super painful. Thank God that is not true. So right after you have surgery, you do have to dilate several times a day. You have to do it kind of a lot for the first year or two after surgery, and I feel like that's kind of where this myth originates, is people think that just because you have to dilate, it's like a wound, and it's not actually healthy tissue-lined canal. So the next myth I kind of wish was true, and this is the myth that after you have bottom surgeries, you will get periods. So when they're doing the surgery, they're not creating, a uterus or any of the stuff that connects the vaginal canal to the uterus, so you can't get pregnant. You can't. Unless someday, you have a uterus transplant and all that kind of stuff. Maybe you can, but with the procedure that I had done and with the most common procedures, you can't. And for the same reasons you can't get pregnant either, which is so heartbreaking to me. Like, if you know a trans woman, don't be like, you're so lucky you never get periods. Like, what I would give to get periods, like what I would do to be able to, you know, house my own offspring in my body. That sounds so weird, but like what I would do to get pregnant, girl. Like, shut the fuck up. So moving on to the next one, myth number 8 is that it doesn't look real. That, you know, it just, you know, doesn't look real. That's pretty much it. Again, this one kind of depends on where you go to. If you go to a bad surgeon and they kind of like mess it up and do whatever, it might not look real. But I mean, in my experience, everything looks totally normal. Everything looks totally like real. I've showed boys, I've showed girls. Both of them said that it looks totally natural, totally like cisgender, you could say. I have 2 more myths that I want to talk about for you guys. So the first one is that once you have bottom surgery, it will completely eliminate your libido. I did talk in a video a while back about my struggles with libido after I had bottom surgery, and what happened after bottom surgery is I no longer had any testosterone in my body, so my libido dropped tremendously. So I guess you could say there is some truth to this myth, but the only reason that my libido dropped was because I was on too low of a dose of estrogen. Once I got my hormones in check and I got, you know, the right dosages and everything like that, my libido came back full force. And now I feel like my libido is almost higher than it was before surgery, just because of the fact that I'm so much more comfortable with myself and I am so much more like in tune with my body, you could say. All right, you guys, we have made it to the last myth. Congratulations. Thank you guys so much for watching. The last myth that I'm going to talk about today is the belief that you will regret your sexual reassignment surgery, that transitioning doesn't even help a person, and that the suicide rates are still just as high after surgery as they are before surgery. And you know, when you look at the statistics, it does look that way, but it's not because people are having surgery. It's because of the way that they are treated in society. Yes, I might feel more in my own skin, I might feel more confident, whatever. Just because I'm happy with myself now doesn't mean that the world is happy with me, and it doesn't mean that I feel accepted in this world. The percentage of people that regret having sexual reassignment surgery is so minuscule that it's not even like a relevant percentage of people. And most of the time when people do regret their surgeries, it's not because they realize that they're not transgender or whatever, it's because the surgery didn't come out the way they wanted it to, or they didn't get the results that they expected. However, all that being said, I do want to make it clear that having bottom surgery is not like a one-stop fix for all of your problems. I feel like I might have treated my transition kind of like that for a long time. I thought in my head that, you know, once I get through my transition, once I get through this next surgery, once I get through this next procedure, then I'll be happy, then I'll feel complete, then everything will be good. But that's really not true. I've had 6 or 7 transition-related surgeries at this point. I honestly do not even remember the exact number. I'm more confident now than I have been in my entire life. I feel better than I have in my entire life, but I'm still depressed. There are still issues that, you know, transition did not address that are still there. But just because I'm still depressed now, or I'm still anxious now, or whatever, doesn't mean that I regret having surgery. There were some moments along the way where healing was really, really hard for me, and I did think to myself, you know, maybe I shouldn't have done this. Maybe I wasn't ready. Maybe I'm not strong enough to get through this. I had surgery when I was 19 years old. I feel like anybody going through any surgery would have those feelings at that time. And now that I'm through the healing process and I've fully come out on the other side, I can tell you 100% I do not regret anything. I am so happy with the surgeries that I've had done. And that's just that. Anyways, you guys, that is all the myths that I wanted to address today. I'm sure that there are many, many more that I've missed, so feel free to leave them down in the comments below, and I'll do my best to respond to them and clear them up if I can. If you guys like this video, if you learned something, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up. It really helps out my channel a lot, so I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Also, subscribe if you are not already and you would like to be. Like I said, I post videos every single Thursday, but I'm trying to get up to twice a week, so definitely subscribe so you don't miss out. But yeah, other than that, I think I'm going to go. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in a couple days. Bye, guys.
So, you know, it's largely retarded. And Mexico never paid for anything, and Mexico never will. If Trump wants to stop all that, he would be very much in favor using, you know, Helgis, whatever the fuck, the guy, the Secretary of Defense, to work the strategy to take out the cartels. I can see that.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I figured we would keep it kind of low key. You know, the election just happened, Halloween just happened. There's a lot going on in the world. Kind of just hang out together, get ready together. I also asked what you guys assume about me over on my Instagram, so I'm going to be talking about a few of the assumptions that you guys left me as well. I post new videos every Thursday and Monday here on my channel, so if you guys are not yet subscribed, make sure that you do that right now. I'll wait for you. Go ahead, I'll wait for you. How does it go? Thank you very much. And with no further ado, let's get right into this week's video. Okay guys, so as you can tell, I zoomed you in. What's up? You guys are up close and personal. So yeah, don't look too close, don't look too hard. So I typically always start with my eyebrows just because I feel like it frames the face really well and it kind of like lays out where everything is going to be. I feel like if I put foundation down first, it just makes my eyebrows look kind of like gunky and like not cute. It also makes it a lot harder to lay down the brow product, so yeah, I'm gonna do this first. So as I do this, I'm gonna get right into the first assumption that you guys left me. This one says, you do not take people's bullshit. Like, I feel like you have a small patience in the best way. It's gonna be really difficult to like talk and do my makeup at the same time. I'm just not that talented. Spinny chair is spinning away. Like, no girl, we gotta go over here. The camera's over here. Ow. But yeah, this assumption is actually really accurate. Like, I feel like when I first get to know you, when I first meet you, I'm very patient. I don't know, like I give people the benefit of the doubt, you know? But as soon as you kind of show me that I shouldn't have given you the benefit of the doubt, or you give me some reason to not trust you or not like you or to just be annoyed with you, my frame of mind just kind of switches into like a very like, I wouldn't say negative, but a very just like skeptical point of view. And once I'm in that state of mind, it's very hard to get me out of that state of mind. So if you meet me, don't let me get into that state of mind. Also, I don't know if you guys can tell, but I've been letting my brows grow in. And I made that TikTok transformation video a long time ago and I shaved from like here out. It looked so strange. It looked so like not okay. I mean, when I had makeup on, obviously it was fine because like my eyebrows were snatched. But when I didn't have makeup on, it was just like, girl, you good? Are you okay? Okay, so my eyebrows are getting to a point where they're like pretty much filled in. I probably shouldn't mention the products that I'm using. For my brows, I use the Maybelline Brow Ultra Thin Pencil in brown or brunette, deep brown. Fun, okay. For concealer, I'm going to be using the Maybelline Fit Me concealer. This part's pretty self-explanatory. I'm just gonna take some concealer on this little tiny brush and I am going to clean up underneath my eyebrows. All right, you guys, so this is what my eyebrows are looking like right now. Next, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take that same concealer, so this Fit Me one, and I'm going to put it all over my eyelids. It's like a little eyelid primer, eyeshadow primer, eyelid primer, Oh my god. Also, today is election day. This video is obviously pre-filmed. I think it's coming out next Monday, so it's like a week and a half or like a week. What's today, Tuesday? It's like almost a week later. I voted this morning. I voted for Biden. What's up, Biden? Love you. Just kidding. I'm not even that big of a fan of Biden, but like, fuck Trump. I posted on my Instagram, like, vote for Biden, vote blue, blah, blah, blah. And everyone's like, people are gonna really vote for Biden because they hate Trump that much. I'm like, yeah. Today I'm gonna be taking my James Charles X Morphe palette and I'm gonna be dipping into this little neutral brown color. Can you even see that? I'm just gonna get some brown color, I don't really know. For me, I feel like I have like a kind of heavy brow, especially on the outer portion of my eyes. So I really like to bring it back and push it in with like a darker shadow. The next assumption is you're bisexual. Sometimes I feel like I am because women are just so beautiful, but I don't think I could date a woman or like be like romantic or like sexually active with a woman just because it would trigger my dysphoria so much. Like literally any cisgender girl, like they're just like cute and like petite and girly, you know, and I'm just like, oh boy. Men suck, first of all, so who would want to date men? Am I right? I'm kidding, don't hate me, I'm kidding. There's just something about a man that just makes me feel so girly and so cute. I'm gonna take a little bit of this one and this one, just kind of like mix them together. And then I'm gonna go right in this little outer part of my eye, like towards the outer third of my eyelid, a little bit lower than the socket. So obviously I put the lighter brown up here and I'm gonna be putting this one like down here. And then once I have the pigment down, like where it's supposed to be, I can blend it up. When I used to do my makeup, it had to be perfect all the time. Like it had to be perfect. There couldn't be any smudges, there couldn't be any like harsh lines, anything like that. Like I spent so long making it look as flawless as possible that as soon as it got messed up or as soon as I would mess up my makeup, it would just put me in such a dark place. Like I would just get so mad at myself. Like I'd be like, oh, well, fuck, it's ruined. It's done. Take it all off. Fuck it. Which is ridiculous. You know, it's makeup. Like calm down. So lately I've been really trying to just like allow myself to be a lot more messy with it, have a lot more fun, and I don't know, just like embrace the grunge, you know? Don't get me wrong, I love my like pretty little flirty makeup, my little like half lash, whatever, but a full-on smoky eye with like a fucking smoky wing and a full lash? You can't tell me that isn't like the ultimate makeup look. You just can't. I can't tell if these are even right now, but like I said, I've been trying to not focus on it, so I'm just gonna move on. So usually what I do at this point is I either take like a matte, like a light matte shadow, like a skin tone shadow like this one. I shouldn't have said skin tone. That's just like programmed in my brain, I'm sorry. I usually take like a beige color like this and put it on my eyelids. Sometimes I'll cut my crease, sometimes I won't. It just depends on like the mood that I'm in. I'm not gonna cut my crease because I don't feel like it. Also, can we talk about the fact that there were officers working like the polls, which is great. We love that. We love, you know, officers working the polls, whatever. But they were literally wearing Blue Lives Matter masks. Like the blue stripe masks. I feel like that shouldn't be allowed, no? I remember in 2016 I went to vote and I had like a pamphlet that like, I don't even know what was on it. It was just like a pamphlet with like some of like the notes or like the voter details on it. And they're like, oh no, that can't be out. You have to put that away, put that in your pocket. It can't be visible whatsoever. And so I'm just thinking like, how can somebody that is working the polls, that is literally there protecting people, how can they have a mask on that very clearly states which candidate that they're gonna be voting for? I feel like that's some sort of like voter intimidation or something. Like, no. I gave him a dirty look. I don't care. Also, Halloween was a couple days ago. Happy Halloween. I was gonna make a Halloween video to surprise you guys with, but I didn't. Sorry. I hope you guys had a good Halloween. Yeah, I hung out with a couple of my close friends. We stayed in, we watched, you know, Halloween movies, we played board games, stuff like that. Just like super calm and cute and like nice, you know? If you guys did dress up or, you know, took pictures or whatever for Halloween, let me know what you guys were down in the comments below. So my eyeshadow is done. It's very just like, it's literally 3 colors. Brown, a darker brown, and that beige color. So now what I'm gonna do is move on to the eyeliner. I'm using the Master Precise All Day Matte Eyeliner from Maybelline. I feel like I always skip over how I do my eyeliner, so I really wanna like let you guys know my process. My special process. What I do first is I go in and I just line my eyes with like a very thin line of black. So let's go ahead and do that. What I do to get the perfect shaped wing or the perfect angled wing is I basically imagine a line from the end of my eye or where I want the end of my eye to look up to the tip of my eyebrow. The way that I get the most flattering wing shape for my eye is I will take it from the highest point of my eye, so like right about here, and I will pretty much just draw a straight line right over to the top of the wing.
Let's see here. Do you mind if I join?
So to finish off my eyeliner, what I've been doing lately, I know she's canceled, we don't like her, but I'm gonna use this because it's a good black eyeshadow. And basically what I do is I take a black eyeshadow on like a little liner brush, really get a lot on there. And then what I'm gonna do is just pack it onto this liner. This is really gonna mattify the liner and it's gonna make the effect a lot stronger. And you just wanna keep adding up the black and just keep blending it and buffing it out until it looks super smoky. So I put on my lashes. Now I'm just gonna darken them up with mascara again. And then before this bead gets too overdone, I'm gonna dust it off and kind of press in any of the leftover powder. Okay, so we are almost done with this look. Now I'm going to jump ahead to lips. Today I am using the Milani lip liner pencil in shade 09 Spice. This is like the perfect lip liner shade for my skin tone at least. I use this like with almost every lip color that I use. I just like go around the edges and then blend the lip color in. As you guys probably know, I love to overdraw my lips. So what I'll do is I'll like trace them in regularly and then I'll go in and really exaggerate the shapes and, you know, shorten this distance. I'll go ahead in and line my lips naturally and then I'll show you where I go from there. Okay, so this is more or less my natural lip shape, and now what I'm going to do to overline is I'm going to go right near my cupid's bow, right near these 2 arches of my lip, and I'm just going to push them up a little bit. Now that these arches are a little bit higher, I'm going to blend them into the natural sides of my lip shape. When you do this, you don't want to overdraw out here at all, or you're just going to like, it's not gonna look right. It's gonna look really weird. So even if you wanna overdraw the bottom lip, just overdraw right here, not out here. Okay, so this is what the overline looks like with just the lip liner on. Now I'm gonna go ahead and take the Maybelline Superstay Matte Ink in shade 60 Poet, and I'm going to go ahead and add this to the center of my lips and then blend it out into the lip liner. You can take your finger or like a lip brush or something and just tap in the lipstick shade to blend it in with the lip liner. And then of course, if you mess up any of the lines, like right here, I feel like this line is a little bit too low. I can go ahead and take that same concealer brush from earlier. I'm not even putting any extra concealer on it or anything. And just do a little something like that. So I still have to add the blush and the highlight and stuff like that, but I actually like to take a little bit of setting spray, or this is the Maybelline Glass Spray. And I like to do this first. I feel like it helps melt everything together. And then once you go in with the blush, it actually looks a lot more pigmented and a lot more, I don't know, it just looks a lot better to me. This is such a good, like, I wouldn't call it like a setting spray, but it is such a good like fixing spray, I would say. It really absorbs all of the extra powder and it really helps your face look super, super natural. I'm just gonna do a couple of sprays of that. And then you can actually take a clean sponge. This one is not clean on this side. It's clean on this side, don't worry. And just kind of, you know, bounce that in. You don't really have to, but I'm impatient, so I don't want to wait for it to dry all the way. But now since your face is a little bit dewy still, you can go in with a blush. Today I'm using the e.l.f. Bite Size Blush Duo. These are so cute. I love these. This is in shade Spiced Apple. It's like a nice like burnt orange shade. What I'll do is I'll just put it right here. And as you can see, since my face is still a little bit dewy, it looks so pigmented and it looks so like, it's just a lot better. A lot better. I'll also take this and blend around the contour of my forehead to just kind of blend it in a little bit. And then I'll also go right on the tip of my nose. Everyone's always commenting like, why is the tip of your nose orange? Bitch, this is why. Now I'm gonna take a little bit of the Maybelline Master Chrome in shade 50. She's looking rough, but I mean, she still does the job. When you do your highlight, you just wanna tilt it like this so you really hit the top of your cheekbone, you know? Okay guys, that is pretty much it for the makeup look. I'm gonna go ahead and do some finishing touches, fix my hair, put some jewelry on, all that kind of stuff, and then I'll be right back to show you guys the finished look. Okay guys, this is the final look. What do you think? Do you like it? I added a little bit of eyeshadow and mascara to the bottom lashes. I put freckles on, obviously, and I also did a little bit of lip gloss. You guys are probably gonna ask, so this is the Maybelline Lifter Gloss in shade 11. Yes, 11 Brass. So yeah, it's pretty great. But yeah, that is pretty much it for today's video. So thank you guys so much for watching. I love watching Get Ready With Me videos. I think that they're so relaxing and so, I don't know, just enjoyable to watch. So hopefully I provided that experience for you guys a little bit. If you guys did like this video, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up down below. It really helps out my channel a lot. So I'd really appreciate it. Also, subscribe if you are not already and you would like to be. Leave a comment. Let me know what your favorite step was, something like that. I don't know. Just say hi. But yeah, other than that, I think I'm going to go. So thank you guys again so much for watching, and I will see you on Thursday's video. Bye, guys.
Oregon, I mean, a lot of these blue states outside of Texas and Florida, they create that shit. And then you've got the states, the flyover states that have agriculture, but okay. And then you get down to like the southern states where there's like really, really, really not great areas. These places that were once prosperous, like due to mining and shit, and other things have now largely dried up. And they're
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Do you notice anything different? I got my nose re-pierced. I did have it pierced probably like 6 years ago, but when I was going through my bottom surgery and everything, it fell out and then it closed, so I had to get it re-pierced, but I'm so excited. I missed it so much. A few days ago, a link was commented on my YouTube channel saying that like, oh, somebody has been posting this all over your channel. You should check out this channel, blah, blah, blah. So I did. It's just the epitome of transphobia. It's just the epitome of like fear-mongering. But I figured for today's video, we could watch a couple of the videos that they've posted on trans people. Just laugh at it together. Honestly, all the arguments that they present are almost just like comical. I post videos every Thursday and Monday here on my channel, so if you guys are not yet subscribed, make sure that you do that right now. Go ahead, I'll wait for you. Are you done? Thank you very much. Also, make sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter to keep as up to date with me as possible. And with no further ado, let's get right into today's video. So the channel that I'm going to be talking about today is called What Would You Say? It reminds me of the show like, oh, what would you do? Except I love that show. I think that it's so heartwarming. I love when everybody is super nice and accepting and all that kind of stuff, but that is not at all what this channel is. Literally the third video on their channel is sex assigned at birth. They have, let me see, 1, 2, they have 5 or 6 videos on trans people. They also have a bunch of videos on like being pro-life, also just on religion, a bunch of stuff like that. Yeah, we're definitely in for some stuff today. Okay, you guys, so the first video from this channel that I'm going to be watching today is called Is Transgenderism Logical? So yeah, let's get into it.
You're in a conversation and someone says, gender identity is reality. The only way to know someone's gender is to ask. What would you say?
Yeah, it's going to be that kind of video. If you couldn't tell already, it's going to be like that.
Today, some people distinguish between biological sex and gender identity. We're told they are unrelated, meaning your body has nothing to do with your gender. Further, we're told that some people are born into the wrong body. While gender dysphoria is a real and challenging situation, the logic used to justify gender identity as the basis of reality is just as challenging, but in a different way. First, feelings don't determine reality anywhere else. They shouldn't determine gender either.
This reminds me of, what's his fucking name? Our favorite person, Ben Shapiro. Facts don't care about your feelings. Facts over feelings, blah, blah, blah.
We don't allow feelings to determine our age, height, weight, or species. All those things are objectively determined for us at birth.
Fair enough, your height, your weight, your age, all that kind of stuff is very objectively determined. So sex, like weight or like height, like he was talking about, is determined at birth just by looking at your genitalia. Gender, by definition, refers to the cultural and societal differences, not the physical ones.
Thin people who feel overweight are called anorexic, and we try to help them. The compassionate thing to do is be kind and help them see themselves as they really are.
I'm like getting heated. I can't deal with these people. First of all, this picture just showed somebody with body dysmorphic disorder and referred to them as anorexic people. Bitch, that... And I don't even, anyways, sure, dude, sure. Yes, you are totally right. When you see somebody suffering with mental illness, the right thing to do is to push them to get treatment, you know, to treat those illnesses and get better. When somebody is suffering for an eating disorder, they go to a nutritionist, an eating disorder specialist, whatever it is, and they get the proper medical treatment that is, you know, prescribed by the medical, I don't even know, associations, fuck, I don't know who fucking tells them what to do, but it's all very official, okay? The same thing is true for transgender people. He's trying to be like, oh, well, when you see somebody with transgenderism, you know, you just have to help them and, you know, get them to accept their birth sex. Bitch, no, that is not how that works. You cannot change somebody's gender identity. You cannot force them to identify with their birth sex. If they don't, that is widely accepted by medical professionals. The medical treatment for being transgender, the medical treatment for gender dysphoria, is literally to transition. It's not to get therapy to, you know, affirm your birth sex and to feel more like your birth sex. That's not gonna work. It's not gonna work.
Since gender is a social construct, they say, male and female have no fixed definition. Here's the challenge with this logic. If male and female cannot be objectively defined, it's not possible to be born into the wrong body.
Who is saying that male and female don't have fixed definitions? What are you talking about? What are you referring to? People like this are always like, oh, they're just trying to, you know, abolish gender and they're trying to get rid of what it means to be a man and a woman. No, we're not. I'm perfectly cool with the fact that I was born male and then I transitioned to be a girl. Like, I'm cool with that. I'm not trying to, you know, tell anybody that I wasn't born male. That's just, I mean, I don't know.
In the world they offer us, where gender is simply a matter of feelings and opinions, there's no such thing as a male or female body. A man or a woman can be born into any kind of body. Yet, 10 seconds later, they tell us that some people are born into the wrong body. If there's no clear definition of a man or woman, it's not possible to feel like a woman. The same people who tell us that some men feel like a woman also tell us that there is nothing unique about being a woman.
Again, this whole argument that we're saying that there's nothing unique about being a woman, it's just simply not true. I feel like we need to clear up some terminology for this guy because he's just getting seriously confused. The words male and female refer to sex, so it refers to your body, refers to the organs that you have, it refers to the physical, you know, the physical body. While the words man and woman refer to gender, not sex. And as we know, gender and sex are different concepts. That's why it's possible to get pregnant when you're a man, because the ability to get pregnant is related to sex, it's related to the body, it's related to your anatomy, while being a man is related to your gender identity, so it has nothing to do with, you know, the anatomy that you have. Okay, we're gonna move on to the next video now. Next video that I'm gonna be watching today is titled, If Conversion Therapy is Bad, Why is Sex Reassignment Good? All right, let's get into it.
One trick of LGBT activists is changing the meaning of words. We see this in the way they celebrate sex reassignment as gender affirmation, but condemn conversion therapy as sex reassignment. Let's imagine there's a 6-year-old boy named Johnny, and Johnny experiences gender dysphoria. He says he wants to be a girl. Science shows that in at least 80% of the cases, gender dysphoria eventually goes away on its own.
Okay, let's stop here for a second. So they're talking about a little boy who says that he wants to be a girl. So let's talk about what would happen in this situation. First, they'd probably go to a gender therapist or maybe their pediatrician or something like that and tell them what's going on. And they will either be diagnosed with gender dysphoria or they will not be diagnosed with gender dysphoria. If I haven't mentioned it in this video, gender dysphoria is the medical condition that often results from being transgender. It's that distress that you feel in your mind because your body and your internal sense of gender do not line up. If they did end up diagnosing this child with gender dysphoria, the extent of their transition for a 6-year-old child would be cutting your hair, using a new name and new pronouns, and maybe like a new wardrobe. and like that's it. The earliest medical intervention for transgender children happens at around puberty, where hormone blockers can be taken if that is, you know, deemed the appropriate next step by their doctors, which puberty is coincidentally the same time that kids that are experiencing gender dysphoria or gender divergence rather of any kind that aren't actually transgender, that's the point that they will, or that's the point that this video is claiming that they will grow out of their gender dysphoric or gender divergent tendencies. So if by the time this child reaches puberty they realize that they are transgender, like all these people want to argue is going to happen, the only transition that they would have to undo is, you know, they would have to go back to their old name, pronouns, maybe grow their hair back out, cut their hair again, I don't know. But yeah, that's what I think would happen as somebody that has, you know, gone through the process. I have friends that transitioned at a young age, so I think I know the process pretty well, but let's see what they have to say. Let's see what they think.
If a therapist or doctor were to help Johnny get over his gender dysphoria and counsel him in a way that helped him identify as a boy, this would be described as conversion therapy. In several states, it's illegal. In those states, the only thing a therapist is allowed to do with a child who has experienced gender dysphoria is to help them embrace their identity as the opposite sex. If they don't, they would be professionally punished or even lose their license.
Let's just talk about what conversion therapy is for a second, okay? Let's just start there. Conversion therapy is a process that aims to convert or change somebody's sexual orientation or gender identity. If somebody's gender identity is female, you cannot make them identify as a male. You just cannot. By making somebody whose gender identity is female live as a male, you are causing tremendous amounts of emotional distress, and you are also increasing the chances of that child hurting themselves. The only treatment that is successful for gender dysphoria is transition. There's no coaching them out of it. There's no coaching them to be more accepting of their birth sex. That's not real. So yes, I would argue that it would be conversion therapy for you to force somebody to identify as a gender that they are not.
But isn't it interesting the words they use to describe these situations? Helping a child identify with the body they were born with is called conversion therapy. Giving a child artificial hormones and plastic surgery is called gender affirmation.
Yeah, it's so strange that they would call forcing somebody to live as somebody that they're not conversion therapy. That's so weird. Even stranger that they would call helping somebody live their life the way that they see fit gender affirmation. That's just so strange. I just don't understand. That was me being sarcastic if you couldn't tell. And also like this image, come on, like no 6-year-old is having plastic surgery. It's just not, it's not happening. All right, you guys, that is the end of that video. Thankfully, these videos are pretty short, so we didn't have to suffer through too much. Like I said, this channel has multiple other videos on trans people. It's not just this. So if you guys want me to make another video reacting to some more of them and, you know, just calling them out on their bullshit, definitely let me know. If you guys did like this video, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up down below. Let me know what you think of my nose ring. Unless you don't think it's cute, then I don't want to hear it. Subscribe to my channel if you are not already and you would like to be. And yeah, other than that, I think I'm going to go. Thank you guys again so much for watching, and I will see you in Monday's video. Bye, guys.
Like, I'm sure that happens, but okay. So you're telling me every gun-loving American is going down to like Texas or New Mexico or Arizona or California? They're just buying up handguns and long guns and assault rifles and shotties and 30 out.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm going to be talking about I guess you could call it a controversy surrounding the trans community. I don't really know what you would call it, but basically I'm going to be talking about whether or not it's transphobic to not want to date somebody that is transgender. I know you saw the thumbnail, so yes, I am going to be reacting to one of Blair White's videos. This is literally like the perfect video. She just perfectly captures all of the anti-trans, transphobic, you know, talking points that the opposition loves to push. So, sorry girl, I'm going to have to use your video again today. I am going to start out and just tell you guys up front whether I think it's transphobic or not to not want to date a trans person, but then I'm going to get into the video and talk about each specific point that, you know, the opposition loves to make. I post new videos here on my channel every Thursday and Monday, so if you guys are not yet subscribed and you would like to be, make sure that you do that right now. I'll wait for you. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'll wait for you. I need to get that down. Also, make sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter to keep as up to date with me as possible. And yeah, with no further ado, let's get right into today's video. So like I said, I'm going to start off this video by talking about whether or not I think it's transphobic to not want to date somebody that's trans. My answer to that question would be sometimes, I guess. There's obviously a lot of different reasons why somebody would choose to not want to be with a trans person, some of which I think are, you know, perfectly valid, perfectly acceptable reasons to not date a trans person, but some of the other ones are pretty blatantly transphobic. I just don't get how people are like, no, that's not transphobic. Like, some of these examples or some of these reasons are just explicitly like, you're a dude. The main reason and the main argument that people love to bring up is genital preference. They say that nobody should be called a bigot for not wanting to date somebody that has the genitalia that they are not comfortable with. And I completely agree. It would be silly to try to argue that, no, you have to date somebody even if they have a penis, like you have to just be comfortable with it. Like, you don't. If you're not attracted to somebody, if you don't have, you know, sexual attraction to that person, that is a very valid thing. I wouldn't want to date somebody that I wasn't sexually attracted to either. So yeah, if you don't want to date a trans woman that is pre-operative, or if you don't want to date a trans woman that is even post-op, but you're just like not attracted to it, it's kind of hard to say because a lot of people want to be like, well, I'm not attracted to, you know, whatever they did to you down there, and it's just like, you don't even know what's going on down there. I don't know. So yeah, that's a little sketchy to me, just like ruling out all trans people, even if they've had bottom surgery due to a genital preference. That's just like, so what, you just don't think the doctors did a good job? What, is that what you're saying? They did a good job. I'm just playing, but all jokes aside, genital preference is a perfectly valid excuse, or you wouldn't even call it an excuse, it's a perfectly valid reason to not want to be with somebody who's trans. Another reason why somebody may not want to be in a relationship with someone once they find out that they're trans is if they've been lied to. So this example I feel like doesn't even relate too heavily to being trans. It's just kind of like a general thing. If you start a relationship saying that you're cisgender and you're just not cisgender, that's a bad way to start a relationship. You're starting it off on lies. And honestly, I wouldn't blame somebody for not wanting to be with somebody that started a foundation based off lies. That's just me though, I don't know. That being said, I want to make it clear that me not explicitly stating that I am transgender is not the same as saying that I am cisgender. If it never gets brought up in conversation, if nobody ever asks if I'm trans and I don't say it, that's not me lying to them, okay? Are we clear? So the last valid reason that I'm going to be talking about at least is the necessity of being able to have biological children. This one is just like, if you really need to have your own biological children that badly, like, okay, that's fine. You do you. But at the same time, it's just like, it's kind of a shitty thing for me. Picture you were with a cisgender woman and after a couple years, you guys were trying to have children together and you found out that she was infertile. Would you just break up with her and go find somebody else, even if you loved her? Like, that seems kind of shitty. Or even if you were just starting a relationship with a cisgender person and they told you like, hey, just so you know, I can't have biological children. Would you treat them the same that you would treat a trans woman and say like, oh, sorry, I can't date you? Or would you say, it's okay, we'll figure it out once we get there. We'll figure it out when the time comes. Anybody else? Just me? Okay, sorry. So that's pretty much it for the valid reasons that we'll talk about today, but there are some more like kind of questionable reasons that I do want to talk about because like, I don't know, I think it's important to mention it. I've dated some guys where they were attracted to me and they were into it and they wanted to be with me or whatever, but once they found out, they couldn't get over like this sense of like shame that they felt. Does that make sense? They couldn't get over this fear of being judged by their friends or their families or, you know, even just their peers for being with a trans woman. To be honest, like I do understand that. I do like kind of sympathize with that. Empathize, sympathize. I never remember the difference between the two, but I do feel for them, you know? Society and the media have created this hatred of trans people, this disgust with trans women specifically. And after seeing horrible representation after horrible representation and trans women being the butt of the joke all the time, anybody would start to feel shame about being attracted to a trans woman. That's what we are literally taught to feel. So when I was talking to guys and they would bring that kind of stuff up, it hurt. Obviously it hurt. Like it felt shitty that they weren't, you know, so confident in, you know, pursuing something with me that they were willing to just kind of deal with that. But at the same time, like, I did understand, and I did, like, I feel bad. At the same time, like, get over it, like, I have it way worse, but at the same time, like, I get it, you know? The point that I think that it gets transphobic, and the point that I think that a lot of trans activists thinks that it gets transphobic, I'm, like, stumbling on my words, I'm thinking so fast, is when somebody will admit that they're attracted to you, but simply don't want to be with you just because you're transgender. They say things like, I can't be with somebody that used to be a boy, or kind of just, like, any other excuse that essentially tells you they don't see you as a full or like a real woman. They see you as somebody that used to be a boy. And to me, again, it could be a result of the media, but like also like, bitch, figure that out. I'm not a boy, like, fuck you. These excuses are explicitly saying that they don't think of us as real women. I don't even know how to put this, like, they just don't see us as women. That's obviously transphobic. I don't know. I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to say, but hopefully if you don't, you know, debunking this video will help you guys understand my point of view a little. Okay, so the video that we're gonna be watching today is titled, Date Me or You're Transphobic. In quotes, by the way. Like I said, I'm not trying to hate on Blair, but like, The person in this video never said this. I don't know why she does this all the time. She puts quotes as her title, but like the person in the video never said this. Anyways, whatever. Let's get into it.
It's this op-ed titled, "Why Can't My Famous Gender Nonconforming Friends Get Laid?" And this article is about Alok Vinman, I can never pronounce his name, and Jacob Tobias.
Hold on, girl. Hold on. Okay, we are literally like 5 seconds in, and she's already misgendered. Again, this is not the point of the video. I'm not gonna harp on this, but like their pronouns are they, them. You're literally reading an article where it says their pronouns. It talks about them being non-binary, and you're just gonna use he. Okay, continue.
They are awful. I've talked about them before. They're basically just like horrendous representations for trans people. I think it's absolutely tragic that they are placed on red carpets and on television to represent trans people. It's definitely a joke. And this op-ed is definitely a joke. And
I'm gonna let you continue. Hold on, I'm gonna let you continue. I just gotta say one thing. She's saying that they're horrendous representation for trans people. Girl, no, they're trans. You cannot be bad representation of a trans person if you're a trans person. How does that make any sense? You could maybe argue that they're bad representation for transsexuals or binary transsexuals like you. Sure, yeah, sure. But by definition, they are trans.
I did a video about this years ago, and people still always ask me about it. This whole, like, is it transphobic to not date trans women?
Also, hold on. I was gonna react to the original video, but I could not find it. It wasn't, like, linked or anything. Like, I couldn't find it.
This whole narrative about how hard it is to date as a trans person, and it's very tiring. So we're not going to read this entire op-ed, but we're definitely going to dip into it.
I'm going to stop it again. I'm sorry, I've stopped it like every 5 seconds right now, but she's not going to read the whole thing. I wonder why she would choose to not read the whole thing, and also, you know, not link it for context or anything like that. I really hope this doesn't cause any issues in the future. Just kidding, I already watched the video, so I know she's about to, like, falsely represent this article, but you wouldn't know that because she only put her favorite chunks in. And she didn't link it.
Alok and Jacob complained that they couldn't get matches in the first place, even when they started resorting to swiping right on almost everyone. And even with the few matches they did get, guys didn't respond when they messaged. I wondered aloud why Alok and Jacob weren't getting matches. So this plays into, like, I can't. So if you guys aren't following, these are two non-binary people, biologically male. They look like this, and they're thoroughly confused as to why they're not getting matches from straight men.
Okay, so we already have our first example of her contradicting the literal article that she is quoting. Nowhere in this article does it say that Jacob and Alok are confused why straight men aren't attracted to them. That's not at all like what the article says. The paragraph after the one that she put in her video says, "But if you think all that would land them a date, you'd be wrong. And nobody is more puzzled than me," the narrator speaking, "as to why such obvious catches are having dating problems when so many clamor for their attention." They're not confused about it whatsoever. Again, this isn't important. It's just like, girl, stop.
They're wondering if it's the way they did their makeup, if it's the fact that they're being racist, like anything but straight men are attracted to women.
You are literally agreeing with the article that you are making fun of.
They have this idea that they are entitled to romance and love and dates and sexual encounters from the specific people they want it from. Like, doesn't matter how you look, you can have a chest full of hair, present entirely male in my opinion, and yet somehow be shocked and bewildered that a straight man isn't attracted to you.
This is why it is so frustrating when people do not provide context or even link the article so that you can get your own context. Nobody in this article is saying that everybody needs to be attracted to them or that they are entitled to have sex with whoever they want. What are you talking about? This article is literally just talking about the struggles that they have. That's it. The link's in the description. You can read it if you want.
This type of thing just basically highlights what I have said for so long about being a transsexual like myself, that it is so different than being non-binary or being, you know, considering yourself this in-between type of thing. Because, I mean, every trans woman I know that's on dating sites, whether it be Tinder or trans-specific dating sites or whatever, have literally no problem attracting straight men, because if you have transitioned and you have achieved secondary sex characteristics of a woman, or if you are fully transitioned, whatever, straight men will be attracted to you. That doesn't mean that once they know that you're transgender, they'll necessarily want to be with you long term or in a serious way. That's a whole other conversation. But, like, if 1 + 1 = 2.
This is my favorite part because she's literally agreeing with the article like over and over and over and over and over again, but this part is just like explicit. You're talking about how if you are a binary trans person and you fully by the way, also she said non-binary in between gender thing. She's describing non-binary people as things, just if you didn't catch that. She's making this argument that if you fully transition to a woman, then straight men will be attracted to you. This is literally what the article is about, girl. It says, dating among non-binary femmes is even trickier, as the vast majority of people, even queer ones, imagine themselves as dating men or women exclusively. So non-binary folks can complicate how others view one's sexuality. Also, it's just really kind of sad to me that she cut out all the parts about Alok and Jacob's successful dates. They have had some successful, you know, matches or whatever, but Blair just wants to paint this image of them being totally undateable. Quite sad, really. Like my British accent.
And I know that being trans and dating and having love and all that does come with its own unique setbacks and complications, as with a lot of things there are. But like, I don't know any trans people who are just so desperate for dates that they have to claim anyone who isn't dating them is transphobic.
Yeah, hold on. I don't know any people like that either. Not even the people in the article were like that. She literally just said, I don't know anybody like that, but y'all are all like that. Y'all are crazy.
There are a lot of people who very much prioritize like having children very quickly into a relationship.
I talked about the whole kids thing already. Like, it's fine, whatever. You do you. Kind of shallow, kind of shitty, in my opinion. But whatever.
Now, of course, are there some people who don't want to date trans people because they don't like trans people or because they even hate trans people? Of course.
Okay, we can call it quits right there. We can just stop the video and, you know, she agrees. She agrees with us. Some people that don't want to date trans people are transphobic. Thanks, Blair. Love you.
Like, I'm trying to figure out how we went from sexual preferences being completely not in your control and you can't change it and you shouldn't be judged for it to you have to have a sexual preference for trans people, otherwise you hate them. Like,
nobody is saying that everybody has to be sexually attracted to them. I don't know where she is hearing this argument. Like, I truly have no idea. To me, she's literally doing the same thing as people who argue that trans people are just transitioning to get at women in bathrooms, blah, blah, blah. It's a disgusting attempt to make us seem predatory and to make our identities about sex, which it is not. We are not saying that you have to be attracted to us. We are saying if you are attracted to us before you know, then you should still be attracted to us after you know.
We also have to consider that not every single trans woman out there, in fact, a lot have not fully transitioned below. And why should they be branded bigots for not wanting penis?
Again, having a general preference is perfectly okay, and the vast majority of trans people agree with that.
Maybe the fact that you cannot get a date is more so due to the fact that you're insufferable and annoying as shit, rather than because you're trans. That's another possibility as well. Like, we should probably consider the fact that you guilt trip people for not wanting to be with you as maybe a reason why they don't want to be with you.
Do you know these two individuals? So gross to me. You're saying that these people are insufferable and annoying as shit. You don't know them. What? They're non-binary? What? They present with body hair? Like, what is your issue? Okay, you guys, that is it for today's video. Hopefully I cleared up my stance on whether or not I think it's transphobic to not want to date trans people. If you guys have any questions or misunderstandings or anything like that, leave them down below. I'll do my best to get back to them and clear anything up for you guys. If you did like this video, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up down below. It really helps out my channel a lot. Also, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell if you are not already and you would like to be. Other than that, I think I'm going to go. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in Thursday's video. Bye, guys.
Which means that he's not just talking about that. Oh, he's only talking about which means that we for quote-unquote woke stuff outside of that. What is the definition of censorship? I'm going to read it for you so you can understand what censorship actually is. The suppression or prohibition of any parts of books, films, news, etc. that are considered obscene, politically unacceptable, or a threat to security. So he is saying that he wants government censorship, some sort of committee to regulate and block.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So it has come to my attention that this week is Trans Awareness Week. I feel kind of bad because in my video on Monday I didn't even mention it. That video was pre-filmed, so it was before Trans Awareness Week was actually happening, but this video was filmed during Trans Awareness Week, so hey, what's up? I figured in honor of Trans Awareness Week I could tell you guys my coming out story. I don't think I've ever actually gone into detail about what happened when I came out as transgender. I don't really know why, I just never did, so better late than never, right? I post videos every Thursday and Monday here on my channel, so if you guys are not yet subscribed, make sure that you do that right now. Go ahead, I'll wait for you. Are you done? Thank you very much. I didn't forget to say thank you very much this time. I forgot it in the Monday video. Also, make sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter to keep as up to date with me as possible. And yeah, with no further ado, let's get right into today's video. My coming out story starts in high school, at least the time that I came out as transgender. At this point, I was already out as gay for probably like a year to 2 years, so if you guys want this story about how I came out as gay, that's a whole different video, but let me know. I could do a video on that too. At this point in my life, I was happier than I had ever been. You know, I was able to dress more freely, I was able to express myself more freely, and I was also able to date the gender that I'm most attracted to. I don't know, it was better in the sense that I could finally express some sort of femininity without being, or without feeling like I was being judged. Obviously, you know, cis men can express femininity without it meaning anything, but I don't know, despite being able to act more freely and, you know, being more confident in myself, I still felt like something was like missing. I could wear makeup, I could date boys, all that kind of stuff, but it didn't really address the like self-hatred that I felt. I liked being able to wear whatever I want, but I still hated how everything looked on me. It got to the point where like I couldn't look at myself in the mirror without having my makeup on. And not just like a little like spot conceal, a little foundation, whatever makeup. Makeup that was going to make me feel the most feminine and the most, literally just the most girly. When there were days where I didn't do my makeup and I was just, you know, lounging around the house or whatever, I would walk past the mirror and I would literally like gasp. It was just like this heartbreaking reality check, you could say, just like the, oh, yep, that's what I look like. It's really hard to explain and like get across how I was feeling. I guess it would be kind of comparable to like, you know, that feeling that you feel when you don't like something about yourself. If you don't like your stomach, or you don't like your hair, or you don't like your skin or something like that. It was like that, but it wasn't like, oh, I wish I was skinnier, oh, I wish my hair was straighter. It was like, I want to be somebody else. I want to be a fully different person. I remember sitting in my therapist's office and we did an exercise one time where she was like, all right, well, let's sit here and why don't you tell me one thing that you like about yourself? Let's start there. I'm sure you guys know where this is about to go, but I literally just sat there and I couldn't think of anything. At that point, I didn't know that I was trans. I didn't know being trans was a thing. I just knew that I just felt so wrong and like nothing felt good to me. This feeling of like hatred, this feeling of like overwhelming discomfort in my skin just kept growing and growing to the point where like I would come home from school, I would close all my curtains, I would turn off the lights, and I would literally either sleep for the rest of the day or I would, you know, submerge myself in Netflix shows or submerge myself in movies or whatever, just something to help me escape my reality, something to help me live vicariously through other people. Looking back, I was obviously suffering with some pretty severe gender dysphoria, but like I said, I didn't have any of the verbiage for this. I didn't know that trans people existed. I didn't know that, you know, what I was feeling was something that other people have felt before and something that I could, you know, do something about. Growing up, I thought that everybody had these feelings of being super out of place and just not, you know, knowing how to be comfortable in yourself. And I'm sure that to an extent everybody does, but I thought that everybody was going through what I was going through, and I thought that everybody just pushed it away. It never crossed my mind that I could actually, you know, be trans. But now that I've grown up and I know who trans people are and I know what the signs are and stuff like that, I can look back and, you know, retrospectively, I can see all the signs. I remember walking through the halls of elementary school, and whenever we would have to go wash our hands before snack time, I remember just being so like deathly afraid of leaving my friend group of girls to go into the boys' bathroom to wash my hands for literally what, 20 seconds? And it wasn't just like a, oh, I wish I could stay with my friends. It was like a, I don't feel safe in here. Like I don't fit in here. This is not my spot. This is not for me. And this wasn't like once in a while I would feel like that, or once in a while I would be curious on to see what was in the girls' bathroom. Like it wasn't anything like that. It was just, I just remember wishing that I was a girl. In fourth grade, I had my hair down to here, and as I'm sure you can imagine with my curly hair, like I didn't have any product in it or anything like that. I didn't know how to style it, so it was just a mess. But because it was such a mess, my mom was like, oh, you should just put it in a ponytail to get it out of your face. It was just like, okay, yes, I'll do it. 100% down. I just remember feeling this overwhelming sense of just like euphoria, I guess you could say. I remember in second grade, my teacher, for whatever reason, like would make all the girls put their hair up into a ponytail. And because I had long hair, she would make me put my hair up as well. And everybody was like, oh, ha ha ha, so funny. Sam has to put, you know, their hair up. I didn't care. I thought it was, I was living the life, you know? Anyways, back to the story. One of these days that I was laying in bed, not able to, you know, exist. I was on Tumblr or something like that, and I remember seeing, this is gonna sound so funny, but I remember seeing like a gif of Ariana Grande. I don't know if you guys have seen this gif, but it's literally just like a gif of her wearing heels and like dancing. I think she was in a subway or like something like that. And I don't know, something in that moment in my body was just like, bitch, you need that. You need that to be you. You need to experience that. And I just got so like, I guess you could say just so jealous. I was like, I need that to be me. Like, I want to experience that freedom, that like liberation that she must feel. I still didn't really know what being trans was. Like, I knew that there were trans people, but I didn't really like fully understand what it meant, I guess. But I remembered watching a YouTube video where somebody talked about, I don't even know who they talked about, but they mentioned somebody that used to be a boy and was now a girl. I don't know why I remembered it, but it just like, it stuck out in my head, and I just tried to track it down to like see if I could learn more. Eventually I ended up in like a rabbit hole on YouTube, and I ended up finding all of the, you know, like Oprah specials and the Barbara Walters specials with trans kids and stuff like that. And then eventually I came across Gigi Gorgeous. And all of a sudden there was this beautiful, successful, happy trans woman like right in front of my eyes. I was like, wow, this is a thing. This is real life. As soon as I learned her story, as soon as I did, you know, a little bit more research on her, I was like, this is me. This is what I have to do. This is what's gonna make me happy. Like, finally, thank you, thank you. Because like I said, you know, I had come out as gay and I thought that that was what was gonna make me happy. I just still felt obviously so dysphoric, and I had no idea what it was. So at that point I just felt so hopeless. When it did all finally click and I was like, okay, yes, this is the path for me, this is what I have to do, I remember going downstairs, seeing where my mom was. She was the only person home at the time besides me, and I just kind of like awkwardly stood there, you know when you just like go up to your parents and you're just like, hey, like you're just down or whatever, and you're just kind of like waiting for them to say like, oh, what's wrong? So I don't even know what I said, but she was like, hey, what's wrong? And I just, like, I couldn't spit it out. I was kind of just like standing there so awkwardly, and like she could tell that I started to tear up a little. I just said, sometimes, and like it took like a minute between each word, but I was like, sometimes I feel like I'm in the wrong body. And then I just started sobbing. I don't know what happened. I just couldn't control it. It just like all started, like I just started crying. My mom being my mom, she's always been supportive of me. She sat there and she was like, we'll figure it out. Like, it's gonna be okay. Like, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Just trying to reassure me, you know? I will mention that at the same time, she was kind of like hinting that she didn't think that I was trans, or just trying to like, you know, like, why can't you just be gay? Like that kind of stuff. I do want to mention that because, you know, parents can come a long way. That's all I'll say. And I just couldn't stop crying. And she was like, why are you crying? Why are you crying? Like, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. And I just sat there and I was like, no, like, it's not gonna be okay. I had grown up with a father who continuously made gay jokes, made jokes about, you know, trannies. It never came off as a super serious thing, but he would always joke about like, oh, if you were ever gay, you couldn't stay under my roof, blah, 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 like laughing about it, but also, you know, that kind of stuff sticks with you. So when I did come out to my mom, I just remember crying and saying like, it'll never be okay. Like, dad will never be okay with this. I'll never be able to do anything about this. I was afraid that I was going to hurt my family. I was afraid that I was going to hurt my parents' marriage. For the next few months, me and my mom kept it to ourselves. I was trying to get all the answers and rush forward and, you know, start something that could potentially make me happier. So for me, it felt like time was moving in slow motion, but for my mom, it felt like everything was going fast forward, you could say. Those next few months we spent trying to find a really good gender therapist, which we did. We started seeing her together, and I started going through, you know, my history, how I was feeling, all that kind of stuff, and eventually we came to a diagnosis of gender dysphoria. This, I feel like, was kind of the turning point for my mom. It kind of set in stone that I am transgender, I do have gender dysphoria, and we were gonna have to act on it if I was going to be happy. So a few months after I told my mom ended up telling my dad. This was something that we agreed upon. I wanted her to tell him. It's not like she went and was just like, you know, blurted it out. I wasn't there when she told him, but what she tells me happened was, you know, a lot of crying, obviously. And to be honest, I don't really think that my dad believed anything was actually gonna come from it. I don't think that he thought it was, you know, actually gonna happen. So he ended up coming to see my gender therapist with us a few times. She went through the whole history with me. She went through how she got the diagnosis, and she talked about what that would mean for me. At first, he was not a fan. I feel like he might have thought that she was kind of enabling me, but he quickly came around to realize that that's not at all what was happening. And my gender therapist actually held an integral role when it came to getting my dad to, you know, accept what was happening. So I think my dad had known for about a month and nothing had really happened. You know, he was kind of still like pretending it wasn't gonna happen. He was like, pretending it didn't exist, all that kind of stuff. But at this point, I was getting ready to move away for college in a couple weeks. My freshman year of college, I moved to Chicago, so like 1,000 miles away from home. So I really wanted to get us both on the same page before I left and then came back months later looking much different, you know what I'm saying? My parents were both sitting downstairs one night, and I went downstairs and I sat down and I said, can I talk to you? My mom didn't really say much because, you know, like I said, she's always been supportive of me, so she didn't really have much to say. I said to my dad, I was like, listen, I know that I'm transgender. I know that you know what's going on. Do you want to talk about it? It was a really, really hard conversation to have. He had never met a trans person before that he knew of. His only exposure to the trans community were the people that he saw on Jerry Springer literally every day. I tried to explain it to him as well as I could that I was just trying to be happy. I showed him other trans girls online. I showed him Gigi. I showed him this one girl named Aurora. I haven't seen a video from her in so long, but if you by chance see this video, girl, Aurora Andrews, you helped me so much. Shout out to you. Thank you so much. We went back and forth for a while. We didn't really get too far in the conversation, but I will say that it was a very calm, lighthearted, nice conversation. Our relationship up until that point was not the best. This was a good conversation for us. Long story short, I ended up just saying to him, I'm moving away for college and this is what I have to do. Either you can be the dad that loves me and accepts me and helps me through this, or you cannot be. That's the option. And it was really upsetting to me to have to say that, but at this point in my life, I had been struggling with being happy for so long that I couldn't let anybody stand in the way of it. The conversation ended, we said goodnight, I love you, and that was pretty much it for that conversation. I moved away from college, I started taking hormones, and I started living full-time as Samantha. When I came home for the holidays, he did his best with pronouns, as did everybody else in my family. And it took a while, but they did all come around. I think that once I transitioned and once he saw that, I'm still the same person, just a lot happier, I think that he really understood why I had to do it. That was over 5 years ago, and now he rarely ever gets my pronouns wrong. And honestly, I don't think that we've ever been closer than we are right now. It took a long time for everybody to adjust and to fully get pronouns and to fully get my name and everything like that. But to be honest, it didn't really matter how long it took. It just mattered that they were trying and that, they supported me. It didn't matter if they completely understood me. And honestly, I don't think that they really do. I don't think that a cis person can truly understand a trans person ever. They still supported me. They still helped me through my surgeries. They still cheered me up when I got my heart broken, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much the story. The moral of the story is love conquers all. I know it's cheesy, but I mean, it's true. All right, you guys, that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I do just want to note that I have been extremely, extremely blessed with my situation. I've been extremely blessed with my parents. I know that this is not the norm for a lot of trans people. I know that a lot of parents don't accept their trans child, and sometimes it can even come to, kicking them out of the house. Extreme, situations. If you do have supportive parents like I do, make sure you go give them a big hug, an extra thank you, an extra I love you today. And if you guys don't have supportive parents, I want you to know that I accept you. I love you. You are valid. And I know it sounds so ridiculously cheesy to say, but just remember that things do get better. The older you get, the more independence you have, the easier it will be to surround yourself with people who do love you and do accept you. Also, I'm going to leave some links down in the description below. If you guys don't have supportive parents, there's some awesome websites out there that can pair you up with an ally parent. So if somebody doesn't have a supportive parent, they can get connected with her and, she'll be your supportive parent. If you guys did like this video, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up down below. It really helps out my channel a lot. Also, if you guys are not subscribed already and you would like to be, make sure that you do that right now. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter to keep us up to date with me as possible. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Happy Trans Awareness Week, and I will see you next Monday. Bye, guys.
Fucked up a lot of shit.
License to just buy 600 generic T-shirts. And at that point, it's yours. It's your pet. It's your uniform. Yeah, it's for work, right? It's for work, guys. This is for bettering the economy. Yeah, I'm not really this, you guys. This is for the economy. This is for the economy. Oh, I was talking about normal shirts.
Oh, we got a Ben Shapiro one. My girl doing a Ben Shapiro.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So last week, Vogue posted an article with Mr. Harry Styles in it, and it kind of blew up.
Or better yet, in 2024 going to 2025, this is the reverse it. She's doing a gender swap version of Brett Cooper. Yeah, let's say that. Let's say that. A gender swap version of Brett Cooper, because Ben Shapiro and Brett Cooper look alike. It's kind of funny because they both do the exact same thing. It's a gender swap Brett Cooper. Samantha's doing a video on the gender swap version of Brett Cooper.
the internet. The article was pretty much just an interview of Harry Styles, but there were some photos in there that kind of triggered the right, triggered all the conservatives, triggered all the gender is biological, gender is the same as sex, all those people. For today's video, I'm going to be reacting to Mr. Ben Shapiro's video on Harry Styles. It's honestly so funny to me how upset that everybody is over, you know, this guy literally just wearing a dress. Like, it's a piece of fabric. Calm down. Like, it's not that deep. I post videos every Monday and Thursday here in my channel, so if you guys are not yet subscribed, make sure that you do that right now. Go ahead. I'll wait for you. Are you done? Thank you very much. Also, make sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter to keep us up to date with me as possible. And with no further ado, let's get right into today's video. I'm thinking I'm gonna move over to the side again because that was kind of fun, right? When you guys could see my facial expressions while I reacted, right? Maybe? Let me know if you guys like it this way or like me cutting back and forth better. I don't know what you guys prefer, so just let me know. So the video that we're gonna be watching is titled, Here's Why Candace Owens and I Trended on Twitter Yesterday. And yeah, let's get into it.
What we are seeing with the Vogue article is not just an attempt to be transgressive, obviously. It's an attempt to redefine masculinity itself. I mean, this is overt in the article. I'm not making it up. I already read you the segments from the Vogue magazine article.
I read the article. Of course, you know, your girl can't just make a video without actually reading the actual article, unlike some of these other people. He's making it seem like this article is aggressively trying to redefine what masculinity is. I'm gonna read you a little quote from the article that like kind of depicts what they're actually trying to do. So when they talk about Styles and his, you know, outfit decisions, his choices, stuff like that, he says, clothes are there to have fun and experiment and play with. What's really exciting is that all these lines are just kind of crumbling away. When you take away there's clothes for men and there's clothes for women, once you remove any barriers, obviously you open up the arena in which you can play. That's what he's trying to do. It's not trying to be like men and women don't exist, blah, blah, blah. He's just trying to like say that you can wear whatever you want. That's literally it. He's not trying to, you know, do some serious deconstruction of gender, which we can get into if you want. Like, I'm perfectly fine with all that, but that's not even what he's doing. He's literally just saying, you just wear what you want. Like, I like dresses, so I decided to wear a dress. That's it. Calm down.
I'm not sure what exactly is controversial about this, that masculinity is a good and important thing when channeled properly. It requires men to defend family. It requires men to provide. It requires men to channel their aggressive instincts towards defense of values and civilization. It requires assertiveness.
Okay, hold on. First of all, I don't know what clothing has to do with any of the abilities to defend your family, to be assertive, any of that kind of stuff. I don't know how those are related, but anyways, he's saying that masculinity is good because it requires men to provide for their families and to defend their families. Mr. Shapiro, can I break something to you? Women do not need you to provide anything. I'm perfectly fine. I'm perfectly capable of doing it on my own. You're saying that you need to defend the family. From what, bitch? From what? You think a coyote's gonna come in and like rip apart our family in the 21st fucking century? No!
The left fully acknowledges the qualities of masculinity and femininity, right? Which is why they suggest that there are a wide variety of genders, because they suggest that a man can be very feminine and this actually makes him a woman, right? So they agree that this means that there is such a thing as masculinity and femininity. They then just suggest...
We do agree that, you know, masculinity and femininity are real concepts, obviously. What I don't agree with is the assumption that when men display any type of femininity, that makes them a woman. I think that's kind of just like him trying to throw a jab at trans people, like, oh, well, men think that they're so feminine that they're just women. Just because a man is a little bit more feminine or his gender expression is a little bit more feminine does not mean he's a woman, does not mean that he's not anything but a cisgender man that likes feminine things. Also, throughout this whole entire video, he's saying like, oh, they're saying that men should act like women and men ought to act like women. They ought to be more feminine, blah, blah, blah. No, we're not. We're not saying that men should do anything. We're saying that, well, I mean, I guess we are. We're saying that men should do what makes them comfortable and do what makes them happy. We're not saying that you have to wear dresses. We're not saying that you have to be feminine. But if you like dresses, we're saying that you shouldn't be afraid to wear a dress. That's it. It's pretty simple.
In the same way that if you said that women ought to act like men, it's funny, if you say that women ought to act more like men, this is considered sexist, because it actually is sexist. But if you say that men ought to act more like women, this is considered progressive and forward-thinking. The attempt to feminize men is ongoing on the left.
Nobody's saying that they should act a certain way or that they ought to act a certain way. That's not at all what we're saying. And yes, that would be very problematic if one were to say that men should act like women or women should act like men. Yes, that would be problematic. Yes, we agree. We're saying that men should be able to wear whatever they want. That's it. We're not saying that they have to wear dresses. We're not saying that they have to be more feminine. We're saying that if they like feminine things or if they want to wear feminine clothing, then let them. If you're a cisgender man and you want to exhibit all the stereotypically masculine traits, good for you. You do that. You be the manliest man that you want to be. But if you want to be feminine, that's fine too. You do you. Whatever you want to do is what you should do. That's all we're saying.
Masculinity and femininity are categories. They exist. Right? Some behavior is more masculine, like punching people in the face. Some behavior is more feminine, like wearing floofy dresses. Right? There are many different forms of masculinity and femininity.
Again, masculinity and femininity exist. Good job, bitch. But then he goes on to say that things like violence, things like punching people in the face, is masculine.
The most important form of femininity is bearing and rearing children. Okay, that is something that is endemic biologically to female mammals of all species, is bearing and rearing their young. Right? And it is endemic for men and males of all mammalian species to be more aggressive. Right? These are just biological realities. To pretend that they are social constructs entirely is completely idiotic and anti-scientific and anti-evidentiary.
Of course you brought up the whole reproduction argument. Of course you brought up the essential factor of being feminine is the ability to reproduce. In this video, he admits that some men are much more feminine and some women are much more masculine. He admits that femininity isn't exclusive to cis females or even women at all. But then a breath later says the root of femininity is the ability to reproduce or the ability to bear children. And then again he brings up the whole, the most important part of being a masculine man is the ability to defend your family and protect your family and all this stuff. Like, from what? Like, this just does not apply in the modern day. Like, you're not hunting for food. You're not protecting the family from coyotes outside. Like, this is just not real. Nobody is saying that there are not physiological differences between a male and a female. We're just saying that these differences should not impact or restrict what we can wear, how we can act, you know, how we live our lives.
Outward indicators of masculinity and femininity exist in nearly every human culture. Right? We train little boys to be masculine and we train little girls to be more feminine. We try to breed out of them the toxicity of masculinity or the toxicity of femininity. We try to use civilization to civilize children. But boys are boys and girls are girls. Right? And these are important things. Boys ought to be allowed to act like boys. Girls ought to be allowed to act like girls.
I'm going to start out by just saying I agree because, you know, we might as well, try to find some common ground. It's hard, but might as well try. If young boys want to act in a stereotypically boy way, then they should by all means be allowed to do that. All we are saying is that you should not restrict what children can do or wear or what people can do or wear just because of like their gender. Like, it's clothes. There's no biological underpinning in clothes. There's no like it's not that deep. It's just not that deep. What I think that we should do is, first of all, not train children. They are not your soldiers. They are human beings. Maybe, maybe just introduce them to both of the concepts, show them what's out there, and then let them choose what feels right for them. You said it yourself, Mr. Ben Shapiro, some men are much more feminine and some women are much more masculine, and so if we force these rigid stereotypes and these rigid rules on children, you're just gonna make them upset. You're just gonna make them uncomfortable, and you're just gonna make them resent you as a parent.
Boys are taught to be more masculine in virtually every human culture because the role of men is not, in fact, always the same as the role of women. There can be crossover. Men and women can do very many of the same jobs, but to suggest that men and women are identical and they are widgets created by social conditioning is just bullcrap. It is not true. It is not scientifically true. It is a violation of actual scientific biology. That does not mean that there's not, again, men who act more like women or women who act more like men. They're not more effeminate men and more masculine women, right? All of that exists. But the fact that there is a spectrum of human biology does not mean there are not poles. There are indeed poles, right? As in P-O-L-E-S, there are poles, masculine and feminine.
I told you he said it. I told you he said it. I feel like I'm effing broken record saying this over and over again, but yes, male and females are biologically different. He's not only arguing that they are biologically different, he's arguing that they are so different that it creates variation between the jobs that men and women can do. I feel so bad for this poor man's wife. Like, he's married, right? Girl, I want to say this super clearly for you, Ben. Any job that a man can do, a woman is also capable of doing. Okay?
The point of the Harry Styles photo shoot is to violate those poles, right? Is to feminize masculinity. Olivia Wilde says it herself. The idea is to rethink masculinity as femininity, to feminize men, to get rid of toxic masculinity by suggesting that men should act like women.
Does your brain not hurt from all the cognitive dissonance? Like, do you not have headaches all the time? He admits that there's variation and then says that some men are more feminine, but then says that Harry Styles violated the poles of masculinity and femininity and he's ruining everything.
It's kind of funny because Harry Styles,
are you the pole keeper? Like, calm down.
Right, they say that gender is actually inborn. but also socially constructed, right? They want it both ways. So they say that a man can be a woman, even though there's no biological underpinning. So gender is real, but also it's socially constructed. It's all self-contradictory.
Okay, let's break it down. Mr. Ben Shapiro needs Trans 101 real quick. So he's saying that we want it both ways. We want to say that gender is socially constructed, but also that you are born the gender that you are. That is correct. Do you want me to like break it down for you more? Because I can. I'm more than willing to do that. You don't have to be mean about it. So the word gender, gender as a whole, gender as a concept, is very much socially constructed. It refers to the social and cultural differences between men and women. So the way that men and women talk, walk, dress, etc., they're all very different, but that's not to say that they are inscribed in biology differently. Generations of gender policing have created this almost perception of reality to gender, when in reality it is all just socially constructed. So a quick little example, men and women talk much differently. Not just the pitch of their voice, the resonance of their voice, but the way that they, structure their sentences and the inflection that they put onto the end of the sentences. Is that the right word? Inflection? Like, how girls, when they talk, it kind of like goes up. It sounds more like a question, and then guys are much more monotone. That difference is not inscribed in biology whatsoever, but we very much do recognize the difference between the way that a man talks and the way that a woman talks. So when Ben goes on to say that we consider gender something that you are born with, he's right, except he's actually talking about gender identity. I feel like a lot of people on the right kind of get these things confused. They kind of confuse gender as a concept, gender as a whole, with the idea of gender identity. Gender identity is one person's individual perception of their gender, and gender identity is not necessarily a social construct in the way that you pick your gender. A lot of people like to say that you just pick your gender, and that's not really how it works. You are born with your gender identity, even if your understanding of that gender identity changes over time. Like if you're born and you are assigned male, but your gender identity is female, kind of like myself. You might live as a boy for a long time, but that does not mean that your gender identity or like your true internal sense of gender is not female. Does that make sense?
Dress has been, for virtually all time and in virtually all cultures, an outward indicator, which is why the Bible explicitly says that it is against cross-dressing, for example. Okay, but in virtually every culture, men and women dress differently. This does not mean that all men dress the same and all women in all cultures dress the same. It means that in every culture, there is a distinction between how men dress and how women dress.
He says, oh, just because they wore kilts in Scotland doesn't mean that women didn't wear different types of clothing, and doesn't mean that, men and women aren't different, blah, blah, blah. Okay, sure, yeah, sure, you're right, okay, whatever. But that's not the point that we're trying to make. The point that people are trying to make when they bring that up is that clothing has no biological underpinnings. The fact that men used to wear flowy skirts in different cultures proves that flowy skirts are not inherently feminine. That's all we're trying to say.
This routine is this. Look how important and magical it is that Harry Styles is wearing a dress. He's subversively undermining masculinity by bringing the effect of femininity to the masculine. And that's real masculinity, isn't a dude wearing a dress. And then people on the right are like, yes, men wearing dresses does undermine masculinity by making it more feminine. And that is a bad thing. And then,
hold on, we're gonna get to what you're about to say. Hold on. What the left actually refers to as real masculinity is doing what you like or doing what makes them happy without concern for judgment from people like you, Mr. Ben Shapiro. And then he goes on to say that it's so bad if masculinity becomes a little bit more feminine. Like, are you saying that there is something inherently wrong with being feminine? Like, what's the problem?
Masculinity has very many good things and ought to be upheld.
I framed that because I knew he was about to answer it. His response to that is literally, masculinity is very good and needs to be upheld. Okay, motherfucking Donald Trump, very good. It's very good. And he's saying that we're taking away what it means to be masculine. Nobody's taking away anything. We're just saying that you can wear other stuff too. But also, like, what are you referring to as the very good aspects of masculinity? Because, like, the only aspects of masculinity that you've referenced so far is punching people in the face and being super assertive and aggressive. Is that what you're referring to as super good? I would disagree.
You on the left, you said that wearing a dress undermines masculinity. That is the whole point of putting people on the cover of magazines who are men wearing dresses.
Careful now, Mr. Ben Shapiro. We said that allowing men to do what makes them happy undermines the toxic aspects of masculinity. The toxic aspects that forces men to feel shame whenever they express any sort of femininity whatsoever.
It is important to inculcate in your children that boys and girls are different. And any parent who fails to inculcate in a boy that manliness is a good thing, and that responsible manliness helps build civilization.
Manliness like what? Manliness like punching people in the face? Because again, you haven't really mentioned any of the other super positive, important things of masculinity, besides defending your family and providing for your family, which you don't need to do. Anyways.
Any parent who does not teach their girls that femininity, meaning the protection of hearth and home in a different way than masculinity, is a good thing. Any person who doesn't teach their girls that is not doing their kid any favors. and they are undermining the civilizational compact between men and women that exists based on biology in virtually every human culture.
He's saying that you need to teach your girls what it means to be feminine, aka you need to inscribe what women must do for men. Are you
No, I'm serious.
Again,
Libertarian
what does
society
clothing
is
have to
dumb.
do with this
It's like
biological
dumb and violent.
contract? Second of all, I didn't sign any contract. I don't know what you're talking about. I just don't know what clothing has to do with that. Like, I really don't.
And the left knows that they can't win this argument because biology cuts directly against them. Science cuts directly against them. So instead, they just confuse it. Instead, they just play these stupid semantic little games where they say that masculinity and femininity are interchangeable, that when you put out there an argument that men ought to act like women and that this is a good thing, you are doing something that undermines and tears at the fabric of not only civilization, but of families. It tears at the fabric of child rearing and child raising, and everybody with half a brain knows it.
I am not even going to respond to the end of this because fuck off. Just kidding. I feel like I've already responded to everything that he just said because he just repeats himself over and over again, trying to get to that 10-minute mark, you know? But yeah, that is pretty much the end of that video. In conclusion, Ben does not know anything about gender theory, first of all. How long is this in my teeth? I swear to God. Second, men and women should be able to wear whatever they want. Arguing that encouraging men to dress how they like is biologically wrong, it's just hysterically misinformed. Also, finally, the left is not the ones saying how people ought to act, or how men should act, or how women should act. That's you, Mr. Shipshap. Anyways, that is gonna be it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys did like this video, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up down below. It really helps out my channel a lot. Also, make sure to subscribe if you are not already and you would like to be, and hit the little bell so that you don't miss out when I post. And let me know down below what you thought of Harry Styles in the dress. I thought he looked kind of cute. But yeah, other than that, I think I'm going to go. So thank you guys again so much for watching, and I will see you on Thursday's video. Bye, guys.
You're a bigot. Fucking work, you're fucking at work. You're just easy saying you want people to get fired because
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So a couple weeks ago I posted a get ready with me video, and in that video we unfortunately had some technical difficulties. I did not even realize that there were technical difficulties until after I filmed, until I was literally editing the video. I feel bad because a lot of the steps in my makeup routine were skipped and you guys didn't get to see what I was doing. Also, I lost a lot of good conversation that I was having with you guys. I mean, would that really count as a conversation if I'm just talking to you guys? I'm gonna call it a conversation so it doesn't sound as sad. A lot of conversations got cut out, including the story time of the time that I got misgendered a few months ago, months ago. I don't really remember when. It was fairly recent. So yeah, I will be retelling that story today as well as talking about a bunch of other stuff too. So I post videos every Monday and Thursday here on my channel. So if you guys are not yet subscribed, make sure that you do that right now. Go ahead, I'll wait for you. Are you done? Thank you very much. Make sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter to keep as up to date with me as possible. And yeah, with no further ado, let's get right into today's video. Okay, so I'm gonna zoom you guys in again a little bit. Maybe a little bit more. Is that too close? Shrinks down in chair. Anyways, as you can tell, I've already filled in my eyebrows a little bit. Nothing special, nothing too crazy. It's pretty much the same thing I always do. I just add a little color and then carve it out with concealer. So I skipped it for you guys. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is just apply some concealer on my eyelids. This is gonna act like a little eyeshadow base. You can just use like an eyeshadow base also, but concealer works just as well for me. So I'm not gonna do that. Sometimes I'll use a little sponge, but honestly, your finger works just as well to blend this. I have a lot of things that I want to talk about in this video, but first of all, I just want to say how excited I am for, this time of year. Fall makeup is my favorite style of makeup. I don't know why, I just really like the earthy tones, like the browns and the oranges, all that kind of stuff. And also I feel like fall and the Thanksgiving time is when you can really start to wear well, obviously you can wear a dark lipstick whenever you want, but this is when it really comes into season, you know what I'm saying? So I just put enough concealer to cancel out the discoloration and any of the veins or anything that I have on my eyelids. And now I'm just gonna take a little bit of a translucent powder and just dust it over top. This is optional because some people say that you wanna keep your eyeshadow base wet so that the pigment really sticks on really strongly, but I like to put at least a little bit of powder down because, I don't know, maybe my blending skills aren't the best. It just looks a little patchy when I do it. I'm gonna use this one. The little James Charles one. What's not the little one? It's the regular size one. So I'm gonna start with this orangey color right in the middle and just get it on my brush. I don't fucking know. This is gonna act like my transition color. It's gonna stay right in the little crease area. So I'm just gonna keep building up this orange shade until it looks super smooth. I'm gonna deepen up the crease a little bit with this shade. Pretty much do the same thing I did with the last shade, except keep it a little bit tighter to my crease. So I'm gonna take the next shade down in this little line, this dark one, and just do the same thing again. Just bring it even closer. I just remembered that I'm doing a dark lipstick, so I don't want to make this too dark. So yeah, that's where I'm going to stop with the darker shadows, but now I am going to go in with some concealer and cut the crease. While I do that, I do want to take a second to talk about today's sponsor. Today's video sponsor is Ana Luisa. I'm going to keep going with this, but I want to tell you guys a little bit about this brand. I'm going to cut the crease. So basically what I do is just put some concealer on my lash line and then like look up, and then it'll give you that nice little line. You can just follow that and extend it or add whatever you want. But Ana Luisa is a jewelry company that makes super high quality jewelry for super inexpensive prices. I've actually worked with them in the past. They have super amazing, super high quality pieces. But my favorite part about it is they're super conscious about the environment and the impact that their company has had on the environment. So not only do they use all recycled materials, but they actually have tracked their carbon footprint and they've taken actions to offset that carbon footprint. So like I said, starting with the sourcing of their raw materials, they've literally tracked like the impact that shipping has had on the environment, the impact that, you know, creating the pieces have had on the environment. I'm not super, you know, scientifically accurate with all this stuff. I'll put the link to how they calculated their carbon footprint in the description because I think it's super interesting, honestly. In a time like this where we have to be so conscious of our environment, it really means a lot to me when a company is super conscious of their impact and does something about it. I probably should mention the necklace and the little earrings that I have on right now are from Ana Luisa. And I think this is supposed to go in the front, but like also you can wear it in the back if you don't want to have like the little clasp in the front, but I think it's super cute in the front, so I'm gonna leave it. But also I got these little earrings. I'll insert a close-up picture of them, but they have little Taurus bulls on them. They have like a whole like zodiac series of like all the different zodiac signs and stuff. Like I got these little snake ones too. Oh my god, don't look at my chipped nail polish. That's so gross. And my dirty fingers. It's makeup, I promise. They don't have that luxury markup like a lot of jewelry stores have. They have jewelry starting as low as $39. Ana Luisa is actually running an exclusive Black Friday deal literally right now. Make sure that you click the link in my description and go check out all their pieces. All right, you guys, as you can see, my crease is cut. So before I put my lid color on, I'm actually just gonna tap in this concealer a little bit. I want this to look as smooth as possible, so when we put the eyeshadow on top, it's also smooth, you know what I'm saying? Last time I filmed to get ready with me, it was election day, and you know, I was stressed about who was gonna be the president. It is officially over. Biden is officially the president-elect. Did you guys hear him shout out the trans community and his tweets on Trans Remembrance Day? Joe! Love to see it. Now I'm gonna take this orange shadow again and just blend this outer corner. Obviously it's looking a little rough. And just try to do a nice little gradient out here. How much better does that look? Do the same thing over here. Get into it. The orange and brown shadows right now are making me feel so festive, so like Thanksgiving-y. Don't get me wrong, I am not a fan of what Thanksgiving stands for, like the genocide, all that kind of shit, but I do like me some food, some turkey. Thanksgiving is definitely a holiday that I could honestly do without, like, sorry not sorry, but it more so gets me excited for Christmas because every year, the day after Thanksgiving, that Black Friday, we would always go and get like our Christmas tree for the year. So I just kind of always associated like, all right, last day before we get our Christmas tree, last day before the Christmas season. Like, is it too early to watch Christmas movies? Am I allowed to watch The Grinch yet? Oh my god, Elf? I can't wait to watch Elf. If you don't celebrate Christmas, happy whatever you celebrate. I didn't mean to say just Christmas, you know, like, it's Merry Christmas, not Happy Holidays. Like, fuck that. Happy Holidays. Love you all. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Diwali. I think Diwali passed. Did Diwali pass? I think Diwali passed. Happy belated Diwali. Oh my god, that Office episode. Diwali, Diwali. I don't even know if that's in the episode, but I love that episode. I already moisturized, so I'm just gonna go in with some primer. Put it around my nose mostly because, you know, that's where my pores are. Speaking of The Office, who's you guys' favorite Office character? Mine changes literally all the time, but I think my top two would have to be Kelly. I love Kelly. Kelly's also my drunk name. She's my drunk alter ego. It's named after Kelly from The Office. But I also love Erin. I feel like Erin is so underrated. She carries the last few seasons, I swear to God. Like the Halloween episode where she's like bobbing for apples, and they're like, she's been down there for a while. And she comes up like, I ate 2 whole apples. I lose my shit every single time. Every single time. Where's my little sponge? My little spongy sponge. Hello? For foundation today, I'm gonna use this one. The Milani Conceal and Perfect Foundation. Great foundation. Chef kiss. Also, don't look at how dirty and disgusting my beauty blender is. I will literally block you. I usually like to take just like 1 pump of this at a time and just like start going in, you know? This foundation is so full coverage, like, bitch. What freckle? What other Christmas movies are there? I want to see some new ones. What are your favorite Christmas movies? I've actually never seen A Nightmare Before Christmas, so I'm excited to watch that one. I've also never seen the new animated Grinch movie. Maybe I'll watch it now. Speaking of movies and everything, I know it's not a movie, but I recently watched Disclosure. If you guys haven't seen it, it's all about the representation of trans people in media and like how it's impacted our perception of trans people. And like, bitch, that's like my thing. That's what I do. That's what I talk about. It was so good. It had like a bunch of super famous trans people like talking about everything. Laverne Cox is in it. I love me a Laverne Cox. I like don't know what to do about my nose piercing. Like, am I supposed to just go over it? What do I do? How am I supposed to do this? Recently learned a little bit more about my zodiac sign. Like, I'm learning that there's more than just your sun sign. So that's a start, right? My sun sign is Taurus. My moon sign, or my moon sign is a Virgo, which I love Virgos. Me and Virgos get along so well. My best friend is a Virgo. I almost said my boyfriend, my ex-boyfriend. My ex-boyfriend is a Virgo. And then my ascendant or rising, I don't even know what to fucking call it. I'm a Leo. My other best friend's a Leo, and she's a fucking crazy bitch, so that makes sense that my ascendant is a Leo. Love you, Cassie. I know you're watching this. You're a crazy bitch. Okay, so that's it for foundation. We're gonna move on. I'm gonna use this Maybelline one. This is in shade 110, so it's just barely lighter than my skin tone, but... So this is where I start to clean out my eyeshadow, and I don't, like, clean it with this thing, you know what I mean? Like, I don't draw the line or clean it up with this. I just kind of go near it, and then I'll take the sponge and get close to it with the sponge. Like, again, like, I don't, like, what am I supposed to do? No regrets though, I love it. It's so cute. Should I do my other nose? Should I do my other nose? Should I do my other nostril? The other side of my nose? This nose? So these are the places that I like to put concealer to really shape my face. So I like to put it right here, and then also right up here to bring my cheekbones up and out. Also because I'm trans, I like to put it right here in between my eyebrows because I feel like it kind of pushes my forehead back. And I'm just using the same sponge that I use for my foundation. And see, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna like literally just tap and get closer and closer and closer. Slowly, and then just keep going over in the same exact spot, and you'll start to see it getting cleaned up and sharper and like more, you know, defined. And I really like cleaning up my eyeshadow like this, especially when I'm not wearing any eyeliner, because it kind of acts like a little bit of a shadow liner. And yeah, once that's blended out, I'll just take a translucent powder. Today I'm just using the Airspun powder. I like the Airspun powder. Everybody hates on it because it smells like your grandma, but I like it. I don't care. And I'll just take this on a fluffy brush and just kind of go everywhere. Like, it's not that serious. But if you are more dry, you might want to use a little bit less powder. If you're more oily, obviously put a little bit more powder where you get oily. For me, my skin just runs super normal, so I can just kind of go ham. I just said go ham. Unsubscribe. Just kidding, please don't. I don't like to use a lot of powder on my forehead because this is where the light's gonna be bouncing off, and like, you want it to look fresh and like cute and dewy. For my nose, again, I'll just kind of go ham. Oh my god, my nose piercing's gonna fucking kill me. Again, if you have a dry face, definitely don't do that because you will look like a fucking chalkboard. I'm just taking a little bit of the Maybelline City Bronzer in shade 200. This is more of a satiny finish bronzer, which I actually really like for contouring because, I don't know, I feel like it makes it look more real. Especially on the nose, you don't want it to be super like matte because it's gonna look really, really strange in person. You just wanna be careful not to use a bronzer that is too warm. When I'm doing my forehead, I mostly like to focus it right above the outside of my eyebrow to try to bring my forehead in like this. For my jaw, recently I've been doing it a little bit differently. I used to just kind of like go on my jaw, you know what I mean? But lately, you see how like you have this natural shadow down here? I've just been kind of going in the natural shadow and I kind of like how it looks, so. So what I do is I just take the contour brush and I'll even like pinch it a little bit so it's a little bit thinner and just go right where that line is. You obviously want to be careful doing this, especially if you're trans, because it can look like a 5 o'clock shadow or something like that if it's in the wrong place. So just be careful, make sure that you blend it a lot. For the nose contour, I'm just taking a little bit of a skinnier brush and just using that same bronzer. Do you see what I mean though? Because it's still satin and you still get a little bit of that light reflection. I love to bring the contour from my nose all the way up to my eyebrows and then just blend it over into my eyeshadow. Period. I'll also do a little bit across the bridge and then down the front sides, I guess you could say. Now I'm just gonna take this translucent powder again and just bake a little bit. And the most important thing I can say is just make sure that you set your face before you bake. If you just go straight in with the powder on top of your wet foundation, it's gonna look really, really, really light and it's gonna you're gonna get a lot of flashback, honestly. But if you set your face first and then put this on top of it, it'll brush off a lot easier and you won't get that same super, super harsh cast. You'll still get a cast, obviously, that's what you're trying to do when you're baking, but it won't be as hard to blend out, you know what I'm saying? I'll also put a little bit along this line to sharpen up this line even more. Do it right here to just try to set back my forehead a little bit. Oh my god, that's so much powder. If you do what I just did and get powder literally all over you, you can take the same contour brush and just kind of re-emphasize where you have these contours and just try to make these lines not as harsh. If you get it in your eyebrows, definitely brush that out because it's gonna look crazy. I almost forgot to tell you guys a story. I've just been like doing my makeup so into it. I told this story in the last Get Ready With Me that I did, but because of the technical difficulties, it got cut out. And I was so upset because I was so excited to tell you how upset I was. But anyways, I'm gonna tell you guys now. So, I got misgendered the other day and I'm pissed about it. But I was at McDonald's in the drive-thru, right? My lips look so crusty and gross. It's just foundation, I swear I'm not that crusty and gross. But we drive up to the motherfucking window, or not the window, we drive up to the fucking speaker and I place my order. I'm like, hey, can I get a 10-piece chicken nugget, like a root beer, all that kind of whatever. It's going perfectly fine, everything is well, they have sweet and sour sauce, nothing is wrong. I wasn't getting ice cream, the machine wasn't broken, it's fine, right? Everything was fine. I'm gonna use this dark brown eyeshadow and add some freckles as I cry my way through this story. I'm just kidding, I'm just kidding. But anyways, he's like reading back the order to me. He's like, is this what you got, blah, 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 yeah. I'm like, yeah, that's it. And then he goes, all right, pull around, sir. I'm gonna cry. He's like looked over and I was like to the person in my passenger seat, I just look at him and I'm like, is this real life? Did you hear that? And he's just like smiling, like, it was clear as day, like he definitely said sir. Like he 100% said sir. Max was like, no, he was probably just looking at a different screen and like got confused, you know, like saw a boy and like, you know, just it slipped out. Like there's no way that he thought you were a boy, blah, 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 all this stuff. Like trying to make me feel better. He definitely thought it. Like he definitely thought it. But I brought it up in my last video because I was doing the assumptions or whatever, and somebody said, I assume that you are afraid to talk in public because you're self-conscious about your voice or something like that. And honestly, after that, yeah, F you, bro. I feel like in my videos, I'm super comfortable with you guys, so my voice kind of like, you know, it gets a little bit lower. I just kind of relax and just start talking to you guys. But when I'm living my life day to day, when I'm like in public, like, hey, how are you? Like, what's up? Blah, blah, blah. Like super, like I try really hard. I'm putting on a little highlight now. But anyways, I drove up to the window and I'm like, what do I do? Like, I can't pull up to the window after he just called me sir. Like, it's just, I can't do that. Like, absolutely not. I had to, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna get out of my car in the middle of a drive-thru and like be like, okay, you drive, something like that. I just pulled ahead. Obviously he didn't say sir again or like say, hey dude, hey bro, anything like that, but I was like, here's my card. I wasn't even hurt that he called me sir. I was more so like embarrassed and like scared that I would go up to the window and he would be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to call you sir. And like, it would just be this awkward situation. Like I didn't want to deal with it. I didn't want to have to like, you know, it's just, it's so uncomfortable. Like, obviously, if you're not trans, you probably don't get it, but like, it's very like, it hurts, you know what I'm saying? Like, not just because like, they're like, oh, blah, 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 you're a boy, but it's also like, oh, okay, what about me is not reading female? Especially as a binary trans person that like, tries hard to pass. At least like in public settings, you guys know that I'm super open and like, I'm very proudly a trans woman. I'm not like ashamed of it at all, but when I don't want somebody to know, I don't want them to know, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go in with a little bit of lip liner. All jokes aside, I'm over it, like, it was whatever, I'm fine, it's whatever. I'm just kidding. It sucks, but like, you know, it happens. It's whatever. I'm gonna add a little bit of a highlight onto my nose. So I'm just taking this little tiny nose brush. This is like my favorite step, honestly. Just put a little dot right there. And then I go down like right here. Especially with the lighting. What nose? I'm also gonna take a little bit of a lighter highlight shade and put it right in here. Okay guys, we are pretty much done with the makeup. I'm gonna go ahead and do some finishing touches. I'm gonna add some lashes, do my lipstick. And yeah, after that I'll be back. What do you think? Let me get the lipstick off my teeth, then you can really decide if you like it. I am feeling this dark brown lipstick. Come on, fall vibes, come on, come on. I don't know, brown lipstick, shit. If you guys are curious, I'm using the Maybelline Super Stay Matte Ink in shade 85 Protector. Dark lipstick used to be my shit. I used to wear dark lipstick every day. And I think I'm gonna bring it back. What do you guys think? If you guys did like this video, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up down below. It really helps out my channel a lot, so I would really appreciate it. Subscribe if you are not already and you would like to be. Ring the little bell so that you don't miss out when I post. And also comment down below, say hi, let me know what your favorite step was, let me know what your favorite Christmas movie, your favorite Diwali movie, whatever it is, just say hi down below. Thank you so much to Ana Luisa for sponsoring this video. Make sure that you guys go check out the link in my description, see if you guys like anything. Like I said, they're doing a deal right now, so don't miss it. Other than that, I think I'm going to go. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in Monday's video. Bye, guys. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So if you guys have been watching my channel for a while, you might have heard me talk about Jerry Springer. Jerry Springer is a show that was on in the 90s. I don't even know if it's still airing anymore. Jerry would be real old if it was, but shout out to you, girl, if you're still going. But I've talked about the show a few times before because growing up, it was one of the only places that I saw trans women. There was no Laverne Cox in Orange is the New Black. There was no Euphoria with Hunter. I forget her last name, Hunter something. But there weren't really any positive or really accurate representations of trans people in mainstream media. I think the only one that I really saw was on Degrassi. I wasn't the biggest fan of Degrassi. I didn't watch it that much, but I do remember there was this one trans boy named Adam, right? I think that's what it was, right? So I figured for today's video, it might be kind of fun to react to some clips from Jerry Springer, specifically some clips with trans women in them, obviously. I post new videos here on my channel every single Monday and Thursday, so if you guys are not yet subscribed, make sure that you do that right now. Go ahead, I'll wait for you. Are you done? Thank you very much. Can we talk about how cute this shirt is also? All of a sudden, I love long sleeve shirts. Make sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter to keep us up to date with me as possible. And yeah, with no further ado, let's right into today's video. So first we're gonna watch Surprise, I'm a Man.
Well, Jerry, you know, one day I went to a club this last weekend, and, you know, I was just going to the club to I'm single, I'm very handsome, I'm young, so I was trying to go to the club.
You're what? You're very...
I'm handsome.
Oh, I'm sorry, it must be my glass.
My objective was to get drunk and possibly get a girl. The day after that, I'm with my homeboys, my phone starts to buzz, and I get a text message. The text message was like, hey, are you trying to take me out on a date? To me, that's a thought, straight up. I would never take a thought on a date. I'm sorry. I mean, it's real. I can't.
I hate men like this. I hate men that will go out and like have a one-night stand with a girl, whatever. Not men that will go out and have a one-night stand. Like, you do whatever you want. But I hate men that do that and then talk shit about the girl. Like, they weren't also just going out and having a one-night stand. You're gonna call her a thought for going out and having a one-night stand, but like, you were there too, sweetheart. The audience though, the audience all like sad that he called her a thought. Honestly, same. We love the audience. Okay, here she is, here she is, here she is.
Why are you calling me a thought? Because you are respected as a thought. I can't respect you as a
So what are
loyalty
you?
woman.
What are you?
I'm a man.
Honestly, same. Like, what is the issue? You're a thought, you're a thought, you're a thought. Like, bitch, like, why are you so mad? How are you gonna be calling her names like this? And then she literally says, then what are you? Like, if I'm a thought, then what are you? Because, like, you were there too. And he goes, oh, I'm a man.
What are you?
What are you?
I'm a man.
And I'm a man too.
We are not gonna watch him like beat her up. That's not cute. That's not the vibe. That's just disgusting, honestly. That's not funny at all. First of all, why did she say I'm a man? Like, girl, you're not a man. You're very clearly not a man. This is literally teaching people, not even people that are just in the audience, but people watching this at home. This is literally teaching them that they should feel ashamed or that they should feel embarrassed or mad or even violent when they find out that they are attracted to a trans woman or when they find out that they have been intimate with a trans woman. This kind of media, this kind of representation is literally killing trans people every single day. And the fact that they left in when he literally attacked her and like started running after her, that's awful, that's disgusting. It's from the Jerry Springer Show. Is this their actual account? Yeah, this looks like it's their real account. This was posted in 2017, so like not even like the 90s or something, but I'm pretty sure this is an old clip, but they posted this 3 years ago. Okay, we're gonna move on. This next one is also called Sorry, I'm a Man.
How did you guys meet?
At a bar.
At a bar. In the city?
Yeah, in the city, Manhattan.
Okay. And was it like, wow, right at first sight, or?
When I first saw her, yeah, because she's beautiful. So, you know, when I first saw her, it was, you gotta talk to that.
Yeah.
From there,
That, yeah.
gotta, well, no, you know what I mean.
Was it nice? Yeah, I know, yeah.
You know, by the end of the night, we clicked.
I feel so bad for this girl. Like, she's just sitting there. You can tell she knows she's about to become the laughingstock. She knows that this is about, like, what is about to happen on this show right now. Like, that's, like, the whole gag. So the situation that's happening now, apparently, she brought him on. I think that she brought him on to tell him that she's transgender. He doesn't know. He said that she's beautiful. He said that he is attracted to her. He likes her. All that kind of stuff. And now, I'm assuming now is when we're going to get into the tell-all, if you will.
We've been seeing each other, and we have a really good connection, and if we are going to pursue things, this is something that you do need to know. I was born a man.
Okay, we're gonna stop it. We're gonna stop it. I feel like the presentation. I feel like the presentation of the reveal of this one, if you want to call it the reveal. I feel like it was a lot better than the last one. She didn't say I'm a man. I mean, she did say I was born a man, which like isn't technically true. You're not born a man. You know what I'm saying? You grow into a man. You become a man. That being said, even the delivery, how she's coming across, it doesn't seem like she's trying to set him up. Like the last one, it was kind of like a oh gotcha. Like oh I'm a man too. Like you know what I mean? This one I feel like is more authentic and more like she actually feels like she wants to tell him and like continue a relationship. I mentioned in my last video that I'm recently single and like I'm already seeing the effects of shows like this where men are just like they just feel this immediate shame about being attracted to somebody that is transgender. Let's continue. She just told him. Let's see how he reacts.
So you're telling me I don't understand. You've been deceiving me?
Not anymore.
Okay, we're pausing it. No, sir. She was not deceiving you. And I mean, unless she like explicitly said, I am not transgender, or I was born cisgender, I was born, you know, female. Unless she said that, then maybe she was deceiving you. But to say that, oh, you've been deceiving me this whole time is implying that she's not a woman, which she very clearly is. This is making me think that the show, like, coaches them on what to say or like what not to say. I feel like when he says, oh, what do you mean? Like, elaborate. Like what are you talking about? At that point, she should have been like, oh, I'm transgender. Like, I was born male and now I am a girl, but she won't say that. She won't say I'm a girl now. She won't say I'm transgender. It's only like, I used to be a man, because that's the whole gag of the show. They want that little soundbite of, I used to be a man.
It was hard.
Hard for what?
It was hard to tell you. I care about you.
How could you care about me and you're lying to me the whole time?
Because I was afraid that you were gonna leave without even giving me a chance.
Oh, well, that's the point. That's why you should have told me from the beginning and we wouldn't have had to go through all of this. Because at the end...
So... what are you saying though? Like, is it?
I'm saying I don't want to be with a man. That's what I'm saying. I want to be with a woman. That's what I thought you were from the beginning. A woman, not a man. Who? You're supposed to let people know, give people.
I shouldn't have fucking filmed this video. This is like too much for me right now. But he's obviously very upset. He's saying that you should have told me from the beginning. I want to date a woman. I don't want to date somebody that's a man. This video was posted in 2015. I don't know when the original clip is from, but this isn't something that used to happen. This happens still to this day. This happens all the time. Like, people don't get what it means to be transgender. People don't get that, like, I'm not a dude. People don't get that I'm not, like, a boy. This video has 1.7 million views. This could have been such a powerful like teaching opportunity. This could have been such a powerful like little clip to show like, hey, trans people aren't men. I mean, unless you're a trans man, of course, then you're a man. But he says you're supposed to let people know that, and the whole audience like cheers and uproars and saying like, yeah, how dare you lie to him? How dare you do all that to him? Blah blah blah. It is such a difficult situation to be in though. Like, there isn't really a good time to tell somebody that. There isn't like a perfect time to tell somebody that. So him saying, you should have told me, that's not fair to me. When should she have told you? It seems like you guys just started dating. It doesn't seem like you guys have been intimate at all. Like, I feel like she did what she should have done here. But even in situations like this, where the trans girl does literally everything right, she's still the butt of the joke, and she's still laughed at, and she's still villainized on the show as being this person that's being deceitful and this person that's going around tricking people. Even if this clip doesn't end the same way that the last clip ended, like with violence, it doesn't mean that it doesn't have the same effect that that last clip had. You can see the frustration that this man is feeling, but you can also hear the audience cheering that on. You can hear the audience, you know, shaming him for, you know, feeling any sort of attraction to a trans woman.
I'm straight. I'm not...
And I am a woman.
Period. Okay, maybe she wasn't like told not to say that she's a woman, but she did just say I'm a woman, period. And I love that she came back and said that, because you know that is such an important thing to recognize. This man admitted that he was attracted to her, he found her beautiful, he liked her, all this kind of stuff, but as soon as that descriptor gets applied to her, he's no longer attracted to her. Like, I just don't see how that works. I don't see how that adds up. You can't just decide to flip off your attraction to somebody. It doesn't work like that. For him to say, oh, I'm a straight man, I'm not attracted to people like you, like, clearly you're attracted to her, that's why you're here, is it not? That's not to say that, like, intimately everything is going to work out and, like, you know, you're going to be attracted to everything, like, in that sense, but you can't just switch up and say that you're no longer attracted to her. Like, you are. You are attracted to her. And being attracted to her does not change your sexuality whatsoever. If you're a straight man, you're a straight man. It doesn't matter.
That's what you are. You're gay. No, you're gay.
No, let me tell you something.
No,
I
you're
am
gay.
a woman.
Keep your hands down. You're gay. You're gay. That's what you are.
I am a woman.
No, you're not a...
Okay, we're gonna stop it, because optically that is not the best move, sis. You don't want to kick off your shoes and, you know, square up with the man to prove that you're a woman. Also, though, he called her gay. He does... It's fine. He doesn't get it. It's fine. It's just so sad. It really is so sad, because, like I said, Videos like this are impacting people every day. They impact me literally every single day. And that's not even just for the extreme cases of when people get violent against trans women. This is literally just impacting the way that people see trans women. They see them as this kind of punchline, as this joke. And that is literally because media like this, media like Maury, all of those shows have taught people, have ingrained in people's minds that it is shameful to be attracted to a trans woman, that it is gay to be attracted to a trans woman if you're a man. I mean, if you're a girl attracted to a trans woman, that's a little gay. Sorry. Okay, we are moving on to the last video. This one is titled, She's Got a Secret.
I'm so excited. Like, it's been a while since I've seen you, and I mean, like, you look so beautiful today.
Thank you.
Like, man.
I like you too. I mean, when we conversed at the club and we exchanged numbers and we hooked up, it was like you was everything I wanted in a man. And, you know, I like chubby guys. You know, I call you my teddy bear. And I mean, I really want to pursue a relationship with you, but there's something that I have to tell you.
Anything.
I'm a chick with...
Girl, you cannot be doing that. You can't do that. My goodness, bitch, that's your own fault. Honestly, that is all you. That was you. This is another example of why I think that shows like this are scripted. Maybe they're like, we'll pay you more, we'll give you extra money if you say I'm a man instead of I'm transgender. If you say I'm a chick with a dick instead of I'm transgender. I don't know what motive she would have to say it like that. I don't understand. Oh no, I low-key feel bad for the guy too, like damn. He's looking around like, honestly it looks like he's about to cry. I think that if she had told him not on the Jerry Springer stage, like in a more casual scenario, she could have worded it a little bit more gracefully. I don't know, but I feel like he might have actually like been okay with it if she didn't do all that extra stuff. You just hear the crowd like laughing at him, making fun of him, making him feel ashamed for it, and like, honestly, I would not blame him for reacting in a negative way. Like, she set him up to react in a negative way. If he does not react in a way that is repulsed by her being transgender, in a way that shows some sort of shame towards being attracted to her being transgender, he's gonna become the butt of the joke. It's gonna get flipped on him. It's gonna be like, oh, you're gay then. Oh, haha, that's even better. He actually likes her.
So, you used to have it, or you, like, still?
I still have it.
Okay, hold on, wait, so...
It's pretty hard to get rid of.
Fuck you, Jerry, fuck off.
You wasn't doing that when we hooked up in the bathroom.
Okay, hold on, girl. That is something that you never want to do, ever, unless you're trying to die. If you're trying to die, then maybe you gotta go for it. But when you tell a guy that you're transgender and you can see that he is visibly upset, visibly feeling ashamed of, you know, the fact that you're transgender, I know it's horrible, it's awful, all that kind of stuff, but you don't want to, like, add to it. You don't want to, you know, pile on to that shame that he's feeling. He will literally attack you. Trans women are murdered every single day in situations like that. Are you dumb? Stop.
That's why the bathroom isn't a good idea.
Fuck you, Jerry. Jerry is making me so mad right now. He's like, see, that's why you don't have sex in a bathroom, because she could be a man. Like, Jerry, you fucking wish. Ooh, I fucking hate Jerry.
Gay, so you think this is cool?
See, right? He's like, see, why would you do this to me? Like, why would you do this? You think this is funny? Like, he's hurt. He genuinely does not understand why somebody would put him in that situation. It's just, she set him up. She set him up to fail.
I'm a trans woman, and how are you gonna address me as a trans woman? Because I go to the women's bathroom, I take hormone pills, I've had surgery, so therefore I'm a trans woman.
Girl, you can't come back now. No, you can't come back. You can't start off with, I'm a chick with a dick. I'm a man. You can't start off like that and then say, oh no, you have to call me a trans woman. Like, that ship has sailed. You fucking, like I said, like, this situation could have gone over much more smoothly, but like, you messed it up, girl. Like, I'll go.
Did you see a man when we hooked up in the bathroom?
No.
No, but I do now.
Okay, so what's the problem?
I'm not gay. Do I look gay?
Are you mad because my is bigger than yours?
Okay, enough. All right, we're gonna be done. Girls, don't be hurt. I do not like to judge people. However you experience your identity, however you want to express yourself, however you want to talk about yourself, you do you. You know what I'm saying? But like, actually, maybe don't, because you're hurting all of us. You're just making men ashamed of liking you. Like, why would you do that? I don't get it. Like I said, videos like this have impacts. You know, they're not just funny little videos you see on YouTube or, you know, scrolling on fucking TV or wherever you see these videos. But yeah, that is the last Jerry Springer clip that I'm reacting to today. If you guys like this video, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up down below. I am down to do more videos like this. You guys know that there are many more videos of trans girls on Jerry Springer. I can react to more if you want. Just let me know. Like I said, I post new videos here on my channel every single Monday and every single Thursday. So if you guys are not yet subscribed and you would like to be, make sure that you do that right now and hit the little bell so that you get notified when I post a new video. And yeah, other than that, I think I'm going to go. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you on Monday's video. Oh wait, no, this is Monday's video. On Thursday's video, or in Thursday's video. Bye guys.
Hence, bad faith. I don't want to keep you folks too much longer, but I do want to talk about this clip very briefly before I wrap this up. So there's a clip going around from the wrap where we have Amanda and Leslie talking about the show. Obviously, having fun with the interview. It's not very serious. Where she jokes about R2D2 being canonically a lesbian, which is clearly a joke in the interview.
Yeah,
but all of these people that want to make racist jokes, misogynistic jokes.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So a few days ago when I made my Monday video, a ton of you commented on that video saying, oh my god, did you hear about Elliot Page? Did you hear about Elliot Page? And I'm sitting there thinking like, who the f is Elliot Page, honestly? But then I sat there for a second and I was like, wait, Page? Like Paige? And sure enough, it was indeed who I was thinking of. It is indeed the person from Juno. That's all I know them from is Juno, to be honest. I figured for today's video, it would be kind of fun to read their coming out note that they posted on Instagram. And he's gotten a ton of backlash since he posted this, especially from the you-know-who's, the TERFs, that whole group, though. We lost a lesbian, we lost another good one. But yeah, I post videos every Monday and Thursday here on my channel. So if you guys are not yet subscribed, make sure that you do that right now. Go ahead. I'll wait for you. Are you done? Thank you very much. Also, make sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter to keep as up to date with me as possible. With no further ado, let's get right into today's video. So I'm thinking we can start this video by analyzing their coming out message. I know it sounds kind of funny to analyze the coming out message, but there's a lot going on here. It's a long note. Hi friends, I want to share with you that I'm trans. My pronouns are he, they, and my name is Elliot. I feel lucky to be writing this, to be here, to have arrived at this place in my life. First of all, I love the name, Elliot. Hey, what's up? Cute name. There's not much to say about this part, but I do want to point out that I've seen so many articles referring to Elliot as, their dead name and saying like, oh, this person is now going by this name. Like, that's not how you're supposed to do that. Even when referring to a trans person's past, you still want to use their current name and their current pronouns. So yeah, that's just a little tidbit for you guys. I feel overwhelming gratitude for the incredible people who have supported me along this journey. I can't begin to express how remarkable it feels to finally love who I am enough to pursue my authentic self. I've been endlessly inspired by so many in the trans community. Thank you for your courage, your generosity, and ceaselessly working to make this world a more inclusive and compassionate place. I will offer whatever support I can and continue to strive for a more loving and equal society. This is so cute. It's just like a little thank you, like a little shout out to all the people that have come before them. And he promises to give back as well, so love that. So this next paragraph is my favorite part. Obviously not for the content that's in this paragraph, okay? Relax. But I just think it's so heartfelt and so, it's just coming from such a great place. So let's read it. I also ask for patience. My joy is real, but it is also fragile. The truth is, despite feeling profoundly happy right now and knowing how much privilege I carry, I'm also scared. I'm scared of the invasiveness, the hate, the jokes, and of violence. To be clear, I am not trying to dampen a moment that is joyous and one that I celebrate, but I want to address the full picture. The statistics are staggering. The discrimination towards trans people is rife, insidious, and cruel, resulting in horrific consequences. In 2020 alone, it has been reported that at least 40 transgender people have been murdered, the majority of which were Black and Latinx trans women. To all the political leaders who work to criminalize trans healthcare and deny our right to exist, and to all of those with a massive platform who continue to spew hostility towards the trans community, you have blood on your hands. You unleash a fury of vile and demeaning rage that lands on the shoulders of the trans community, a community in which 40% of trans adults report attempting suicide. Enough is enough. You aren't being canceled, you are hurting people. I am one of those people, and we won't be silent in the face of your attacks. Yes, Mr. Elliot, thank you. Period. So the first two paragraphs, we get a nice little shout out and a little promise, but then the next paragraph, they're like, listen, I'm trans, it's a beautiful thing, but it's not really. He highlights that while it's exciting to be your true self and, liberating to exist in the world as your true self, It's also terrifying, especially on such a large scale with such a huge platform. The hate is only magnified. Like, yes, of course, transitioning when you are rich and famous does come with a lot of advantages, and it does make it a lot easier in some ways, but it also makes it, you know, tremendously harder in a lot of ways too. You may have millions and millions of people supporting you, but you also have millions of people hating on you and trying to invalidate your identity. And the fact that he included all of this in his coming out post is so like meaningful to me, because, you know, he didn't have to do this. He could have just been like, I'm trans, this is who I am, you know, like, peace. But he didn't. He knew that this was going to be seen by a lot of people, so he put in this paragraph to spread awareness about what's really going on in the world, to let people know that it's not just this glamorous overnight transition that is just, you know, for fun, or it's just this happy thing. It comes with a lot of risks. There's a lot of sacrifices that need to be made. He goes on to say, I love that I am trans and I love that I am queer. And the more I hold myself close and fully embrace who I am, the more I dream, the more my heart grows, and the more I thrive. To all the trans people who deal with harassment, self-loathing, abuse, and the threat of violence every day, I see you, I love you, and I will do everything I can to change this world for the better. He's acknowledging his privilege. He's acknowledging that he does not experience being trans the same way that the majority of the community does, simply due to the fact that they're just so famous. I think this was a beautifully crafted, a beautifully designed coming out thing. You can tell that there was a lot of thought put into it. Like I said, they definitely did not have to address a lot of the things that they did, but, you know, it just makes me like them even more, you know? Which is so exciting to me, and I'm so hopeful that we're gonna have another well-respected celebrity who is not only unapologetically themselves, but unapologetically trans. I'm not a trans guy, I'm not non-binary, but, you know, even just having somebody that is under the trans umbrella, being so famous and well-respected and, you know, in movies and whatever, it's exciting. Finally gonna have good, productive roles on TV, not just the people that were in my last video. I don't know if you guys remember when they originally came out at like the HRC event, but like if you go back and watch that speech, you can really tell that they're very knowledgeable and they're very, you know, aware of the struggles that a lot of people in the community face, but also we can clearly tell by the post that they acknowledge their privilege, and they're gonna use that privilege for good, which is all we should really ask for from these celebrities, you know what I mean? They don't have a duty to be a role model, they don't have a duty to educate people on their trans identity, but when they do, it's just like it's just even better. This is gonna show kids and viewers of all age that are fans of Elliot Page that it's okay to be trans and it's okay to be proud to be trans. Not to mention he's probably gonna have some really cool roles in the future. Like, I'm excited to see what they do with his character on the Umbrella Academy, I think it is. I haven't seen the Umbrella Academy, so I don't know what, you know, his character is at all. I don't know if it's a girl or anything like that, but I'm hoping that he's gonna do as much as he can to make sure that that role is as representative and accurate as possible. I don't know, I just don't see him doing us dirty, you know what I'm saying? I really do feel kind of bad for him though, because he is receiving a lot of backlash, which honestly is to be expected. You know, people hear the word trans and their little brains can't handle it. I don't know, they freak out. But yeah, I've heard people say that he's just doing it for clout, that they're just doing it for attention, blah, blah, blah. I've also heard people say, oh, we lost another lesbian, all the lesbians are leaving us. Like, bitch, I would leave your fucking turf ass too, bye. I'm just joking. Trans men are not lesbians that are, you know, misogynistic. I mean, they could be, but most of the time they are not. But yeah, I mean, haters gonna hate. Fuck those bitches. It's just the same argument over and over again. It's just that we're not trans for X reason, you know, we're not trans, we're just predators. We're just predators trying to go into the bathroom. They're not trans, they're just mentally ill. They're not really trans. They just have, you know, rapid onset gender dysphoria. It's just a phase. It's just a trend. Like, girl, calm down. Calm down. I can't not quote that video when I say calm down. Like, calm down. I don't know. I just can never understand why people think that they would know what's going on in other people's minds more than that person, like, knows themselves. Do you think you're God? Honestly, they probably do think they're God, but you don't know what's going on in anybody's head but your own, and you don't know if they've seen, like, medical professionals, you don't know if they've seen professional, like, gender therapists, whatever. You just don't know. Like, stop trying to act like you know everything. Anyways, this is supposed to be a happy video. I'm gonna stop talking about haters. In conclusion, I just want to say a big congratulations to Elliot. I'm so proud of you. I'm so excited to see what the future holds for you. I'm so excited to see the roles you're gonna play, all that kind of stuff. So yeah. Welcome to the community, bitch. I mean bitch in a loving way, I promise. Love you. Shout out to you. But yeah, that is pretty much it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys did like this video, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up down below and comment. I don't really care what you comment, just say hi. I do try to read all the comments, so don't be like, oh, she's never gonna look at it. I'm gonna look at it, so go say something. I need to like stop on my hands. I'm so energetic. I drank too much coffee. Make sure to subscribe if you are not already and you would like to be. Hit the little bell so you know when I post. And yeah. Other than that, I think I'm gonna go. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in Monday's video. Bye, guys.
kind of stuff that I have a problem with. It's also a waste of time and money off of our backs.
Yep.
These are people that work for us. And if you want to work towards immigration, you want to work towards the economy, you want to actually do things to protect people, things like that, at least then, to me, you're doing something important and something that's going to be...
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Do you guys like my hair? I don't know how to do pigtails. I don't know if this is like right. Do I look dumb? Probably. I don't care. It's whatever. So last week I got a text from my friend that was like, hey, have you seen the show Big Mouth? And I'm like, girl, yeah, of course. Who hasn't seen the show Big Mouth? That show is so cringy, so ridiculous, but it's also so funny, like you have to admit it. She told me that the new season had just come out and there was a trans character in the first episode. First of all, that's so sweet of you to text that to me. Like, we love supportive friends. So for this week's video, I'm going to be reacting to the first episode of the 4th season of Big Mouth. So yeah, there's about 3 scenes in the first episode that talk about her trans identity. We're gonna watch them together today. We'll go through it. We'll talk about the impact that it can potentially have on actual trans people in real life. I post new videos here on my channel every single Monday and Thursday, so if you are not yet subscribed and you would like to be, go ahead and do that right now. I'll wait for you. Go ahead. Are you done? Thank you very much. Also, make sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter to keep as up to date with me as possible. And yeah, with no further ado, let's get right into today's video. So I know I usually sit on this side to do like my reaction videos, but bitch, can we talk about how much cuter this side of my face is? So I'm no longer gonna be over here. No, we're not doing it.
This is Natalie. Hold on. Gabe? Natalie.
Hey guys.
What happened, Gabe?
Coming here was a terrible mistake. Look at them. They hate you. Please call me Natalie now. I'm transgender. I use she, her pronouns.
Are you gonna sleep here?
No.
So this is all a scam so you can just watch, girls change and stuff? Do you pee standing up or lying down?
The fuck?
I'm just gonna ask the thing that we're all thinking, but not asking. What does your crotch look like?
This is a disaster, but don't cry. They'll think you're weak, and then they'll pounce.
Please, just tell us if you have a dick.
Shut the fuck up, all of you. Eat my fucking asshole.
I tried so hard to not interrupt that scene for you guys. You're welcome. Hopefully you appreciated me getting all the way through that before stopping it. So before I start talking about the scene, I do want to note that I am going to be doing like a media analysis. I'm not necessarily going to be talking about the content that's in it. Obviously that content was a little bit cringy, not cute. That's obviously not what you want to say to a trans person. But when we're analyzing media like this, it's not necessarily what the content is like specifically. It's more so what people are going to get out of that content. So for this scene, I actually think it was a really, really well done scene. You obviously don't want to act like that camp counselor did and just like make the trans go fend for themselves. But at the same time, like, these kind of things really do happen. Trans people constantly have to act like an educator in their coming out situations, even when they're being bombarded by invasive personal questions like, what's your crotch look like? Do you pee standing up? It's hard enough on its own to come out and tell people that you're transgender, but when you're met with all of these questions and all of this interrogation, it just makes it that much harder. So when you're a camp counselor or a teacher or someone that has to introduce a trans student or a trans person to other kids, you don't want to do that. You don't want to like make them fend for themselves, throw them to the sharks. You don't want the trans person to be there. That's just like step 1. In this situation, she's literally there for camp. She's not there to educate all the other campers. Like, that's not a situation that you should have put her in. I also love how it depicted the inner voice and like that little anxiety mosquito. It actually really accurately depicts the anxieties and the struggles that trans people go through when they have to come out to people like this. You can hear her thinking this is a disaster, don't cry, but also like not wanting to come off as weak, so having to push all of that down. Like, those are very much real things that trans people deal with. You want to seem put together, you want to seem, rational, you want to seem mentally stable. We have to constantly make sure that we're not coming off as aggressive or hostile, or else, all of a sudden our identity isn't valid anymore. We're just crazy and irrational. So like, while it may be hard to see that on TV, or, obviously that's not the way that you want to see trans people be treated, it's actually a super accurate, realistic representation. It's also a really great depiction of how relentless people can be when asking these invasive questions to trans people. I don't know what it is about being trans, but people feel like they just have this right to know everything about you. Like Seth Rogen's character literally asking like 3 times, what do you have between your legs? Like, do you have a dick? What's your crotch look like? I first realized that I was transgender my senior year of high school, but I made myself wait until I graduated high school to tell anybody, well, except for like my best friends, but to like make it public to anybody, just because I was so afraid of how kids were gonna treat me in school. I knew that people would torment me like the kids are in this show, and like, The fact that they're showing that this is what actually happens to trans people, like, that's a good representation. That is what we want to see. Okay, let's move on to the second scene.
This is Natalie. She'll be in our bunk this summer. She is trans, so everybody just fucking be cool. Hey everyone. Wait, Gabe? It's Natalie, actually. That is so cool. The boys were such scrotes.
Scroats? Ew. What is that? What are you saying? Don't talk like that.
Oh, sorry. Apologize.
Now that sounds like a girl. I see.
Hari Neff. Fashion Week.
Gucci. No, snakes are solid and that's offensive. We need something inclusive.
What if we just went classic? Caitlyn Jenner, silk bustier, mega hat.
No offense and not to be a bitch, but your current look is pretty butch. Yeah, don't you want to like pass as a girl or whatever?
Don't get mad at them. Just agree with them now and then think about this for the rest of your life.
Okay, pause. Once again, that sucks to watch, honestly, because, like, it's triggering. But it's actually a really, really good representation of how trans girls are treated a lot of the time. I will admit that maybe it is a bit exaggerated, but, like, the backhanded compliments and the judgment, all that kind of stuff is very much real. Girls can definitely be a lot more accepting, but at the same time, they can be a lot meaner in, like, different ways than boys. They cheer her on and say that she's so pretty and she should be a model and all this stuff, but then imply that she could only be a model if it's during an inclusive runway or if it's a Caitlyn Jenner themed runway. Like, girl. They give her suggestions for clothes, but take it farther than that and say that you need to be more feminine if you want to pass as a girl. When I identified as a gay boy and I was visibly, like, a gay boy, all the girls wanted to be friends with me. They all wanted me to be their, like, gay best friend, you know? But then once I transitioned, once I, like, looked like a girl, that all went away. Obviously, not all girls are like that. Like, even the show showed that not all girls are like that. Usually, it's only, like, the cool girls or, like, the popular girls that are, you know, they do those backhanded compliments like that. Like I said, obviously, I transitioned a little bit later in life, so I didn't get to experience being a trans girl, like, at a summer camp or, you know, in high school or middle school or anything like that. But like, even in college, I noticed stuff like this. So I can only imagine that it's much worse when you're younger and less mature. Okay, there's one last scene in this episode that we're gonna watch today. Let's get into it.
So did you, like, already know last summer?
That I was a girl?
Yeah. Kinda. I mean, this is gonna sound weird, but when I started going through puberty, it was like this monster showed up.
No! Get away from me, you horny psycho! I think maybe I'm gay!
Yeah, I did kind of think you were gay.
So did I. I realized that didn't feel right either. I just know I hate you and what you're doing to my body.
Then I found this forum for trans kids, and it was like, that's who I am. We decided I should go on hormone blockers. Now I'm here.
Isn't that so cute? Very great, very accurate scene. We truly love to see it. Big Mouth, you got some good writers. Obviously, everybody is different, especially trans people. We're all very, very different, but I feel like a lot of us can relate to Natalie's story. She described puberty as a monster and said that she hated what it did to her body. And if you guys have been following my channel for a while, I've actually also said that testosterone felt like a poison in my body, so I also hate the things that this puberty monster did to me. Relatable girl. She also talked about how she identified as gay and she thought that she was gay for a while, but eventually it just wasn't enough. And like, bitch, if you follow my channel, you know that's exactly what I experienced also. I also came out as a gay boy first, but eventually realized that it wasn't exactly, you know, the right fit for me. It wasn't exactly everything that I needed. Then she talks about finding a trans forum online and like immediately recognizing herself as trans and like going to tell her mom. And like, I feel like there isn't one trans person in at least our generation that didn't find a trans forum and then realized that they were also trans. I never took hormone blockers because again, I transitioned a little bit later in life, but taking hormones was kind of the same experience for me in that it stopped this testosterone monster from, you know, poisoning my body or doing these awful things to my body that Natalie describes. The last we see of Natalie in this episode, she is with Jessie, the little redhead girl, and they are going to play a prank on some of the boys. How cute is that? Like, they're just bonding, just living their life, a little camp life. In my opinion, Big Mouth literally nailed this character. Like, even from the aesthetic of her character, you know, she isn't super, super girly, like the stereotype of trans women where they wear all pink and like they have all this glamorous makeup on. Me sitting here with a full red lip. What do you mean glamorous makeup? What are you talking about? But they also don't depict her as that stereotype of being super masculine. They depict her with like a girly voice and like normal girly clothes. And she doesn't really look trans either. Like, she has a little bit of a big forehead, but like if you watch the show, a lot of the other cisgender girls have big foreheads too. So I don't think it was like a trans thing that they tried to do. But yeah, Good job, Big Mouth. The show also depicts other topics, like even this episode depicts bisexual people, it depicts breaking gender roles, and it even includes that little anxiety mosquito going around and talking about what having anxiety is like. So just to sum up, just to give my final little opinion on the show, I do approve. I think this is a great representation of trans people, and I'm really excited to see what they do with Natalie's character in the rest of the season. Big Mouth, shout out to you, girl. You killed it. But yes, that is the end of this episode. That is the end of this video. If you guys like this video, if you guys like this media analysis type video, let me know down below. This is like my favorite type of video to film. Like I said, I post new videos every Monday and Thursday, so make sure to subscribe if you are not already and you would like to be. Make sure to give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it. Comment down below what your favorite scene or your favorite character from Big Mouth is. But yeah, other than that, I think I'm going to go. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in Thursday's video. Bye, guys.
Signal. It's like I don't want to be political fodder. Goddammit. What if they just recommend you? Hello. They just recommend you content. That's the way I see it. Yeah, but you don't want to like shove it in people's face. Like if they don't like it, they don't like it. It's just for the holiday. It's a holiday special, just like how you have like Christmas specials, 4th of July special, the Star Wars special. If it was a Star Trek special, I would.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. First of all, I want to say a giant thank you for all of the support and the love on my last video. That video hit like 150,000 views in like a day. Y'all are crazy. I love you so much. Thank you. Unfortunately for today's video, we have kind of a upsetting topic to cover. Recently, the UK made it virtually impossible for anybody under 16 to access hormone blockers without having a court order. I know that Vaush covered this recently. If you don't know who Vaush is, he's like a leftist streamer. Definitely recommend watching him. Vaush is great. I did get a chance to watch his video. I know that Sam Collins also covered it in his new podcast, but unfortunately I didn't get a chance to listen to that yet. But like, it's Sam Collins. I'm sure it's good. So for today's video, I figured we could talk a little bit about puberty blockers, you know, talk about their role with trans kids. And then I also want to dissect this case and talk about where I think that the case kind of went wrong. I post new videos here on my channel every Monday and Thursday, so if you are not yet subscribed and you would like to be, make sure you do that right now. Go ahead. I'll wait for you. Are you done? Thank you very much. Make sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter to keep as up to date with me as possible. And also, I just made a Patreon if you'd like to donate to my channel. Feel free to do that. The link's down below. No pressure. But yeah, with no further ado, let's get right into today's video. So like I mentioned, I first want to start by talking a little bit about hormone blockers or puberty blockers, whatever you want to call it. As the name suggests, puberty blockers are used to delay the onset of puberty. They're used for a couple of reasons. Historically, they've been used in children with a precocious puberty, meaning their puberty started a little bit early or it's a little bit too aggressive and they need to like mellow it down. So kids or young people have been taking these puberty blockers for like 30 years, with studies following them and finding very few side effects. More recently though, puberty blockers are used in kids with gender dysphoria, delaying the onset of puberty and therefore delaying the effects of like testosterone or the effects of estrogen on a young trans person, grants them more time to assess and understand their gender identity with medical professionals. For a lot of trans people, myself included, testosterone or estrogen are literal poisons in our bodies. So not only are you avoiding higher chances of depression, anxiety, eating disorders, all of these things when you prescribe hormone blockers, but you're also making a later transition tremendously easier. If I had access to puberty blockers when I was going through puberty, I wouldn't have needed to remove my Adam's apple, which has caused me a lot of problems. I wouldn't have needed a chest reconstruction, which has also caused me a lot of issues. But also, if the kid doesn't end up being transgender, they're completely reversible. You can just stop taking hormone blockers and your puberty will progress normally. I don't see the risk. There is so much opposition, there's so many naysayers to giving kids hormone blockers, which is like, honestly, like, we've been doing it for 30 years. The only reason that they're against it now is because it's helping trans kids and they don't like trans people. And the biggest concern over providing puberty blockers is their potential effect on bone density. People argue that children that take puberty blockers may not reach the full maximum bone density potential that they could have if they had not taken these drugs. The reality of these concerns is that the findings that support them are extremely difficult to interpret, and most professionals and articles that defend puberty blockers claim that if these claims can be substantiated and if they can be proven, then of course we're going to look at them. Of course that will be an area for concern. But at the moment, the studies just don't support that it's that much of a concern, or that it even comes close to outweighing the benefits of taking puberty blockers. There will be like a giant resource section down in the description, so if you're wondering where I got this information, it's all cited, don't worry. The second concern is that it has negative effects on sexual and reproductive health, which again is not true. We need to understand that puberty blockers are much, much different than cross-sex hormones. Puberty blockers are simply delaying the onset of puberty. They don't produce the hormones that provide physical changes to the body. It's literally just giving you an extra 6 months or an extra year to decide if this is the right path for you. So if somebody born male that's on these puberty blockers eventually decides that they want to save their sperm, they can just come off of puberty blockers and that production of those, sexual cells will just continue. Obviously, with people born female, they're born with all of the eggs and all of the ova they will have for the rest of their lives. So if that person assigned female at birth decides that they do want to harvest their eggs, they can do that. That's fine. So the third concern, which is the most important because it's going to be relevant in the case that we're going to discuss in a minute, is that taking puberty blockers has a major link to cross-sex hormones, aka once you take puberty blockers, you are going to take cross-sex hormones, and therefore you have to be aware of all the impacts of cross-sex hormones. That doesn't make any sense to me. These are totally different procedures. It doesn't make any sense. If you really want to make that argument, we can look at the kids that took this drug for precocious puberty. They are no more likely to identify with the opposite gender than, any other cis kid. So like what? What are you talking about? But yeah, that's pretty much the basics of puberty blockers. Hopefully you have a good idea of what puberty blockers do, what they're used for, all that kind of stuff. And hopefully you also have a good grasp of the ridiculous concerns and the ridiculous arguments that the opposition loves to push. So now we're gonna get a little bit into the case and talk about why they banned puberty blockers for people under 16. So I'm gonna play a few clips from a video from the Channel 4 News channel, YouTube channel. I don't really know how to say it, but yeah, we're just gonna watch this.
When Kira was a teenager, she desperately wanted to be a boy. Now 23, she regrets the transition she underwent and says instead she was struggling with a complex identity issue.
I thought that was the solution to my problems, and they led me to believe the same thing.
And today, 3 judges at the High Court agreed that children under the age of 16 were unlikely to be mature enough to consent to taking hormone-blocking drugs, delaying puberty.
It's more than we, could have hoped for. And, it means protections are reinstated for children and young people. I'm, of course, very angry because, those protections weren't put in place and the professionals, in my opinion, weren't doing their job.
The court ruling effectively makes it very difficult for clinicians to offer hormone-blocking drugs to under 16s without a court order.
They found that a child could not always realise the long-term consequences of taking puberty blockers.
Okay, obviously there's a lot going on in this video. There's a lot going on with this whole case. So I'm going to do my best to address all of it and go part by part. But there's a lot going on, so I'm sorry if I missed something. Kira Bell is somebody that was assigned female at birth, and then at 16, I think 16, 15, when they were in like their teenage years, they started puberty blockers and eventually took testosterone and eventually had mastectomy. But now, 8 years later, they're realizing that they are not trans and they are literally suing the NHS because the professionals didn't do their job right and they didn't warn them of the risks of taking puberty blockers. Kira claims that this ruling reinstates protections for young people against professionals who weren't doing their job. First of all, I'm not sure how the answer to somebody not doing their job correctly is taking away all of trans kids' access to medical care. Like what? How does that make sense? I don't want to focus on Kira for too long because honestly, I feel like she is mostly just being used as a pawn from like this anti-trans place of hatred, whatever you want to call it. I feel like they're really just using her and using her story to push an agenda. In this video and in an article, Kira claims that she had 3 one-hour sessions before being put on puberty blockers and then was blindly led down a path of transition and of medicalization. So I took a couple screenshots from the court case and I want to read them for you guys. The defendant, which is the Tavistock clinic, submits the first claimant was given the fullest possible information after a large number of consultations, at least 10, and that she was Gillick competent to make the decision to take puberty blockers. Gillick competent is like the standard they use to determine whether or not a child can give consent to medical procedures. As you can see from this little quote, she didn't have 3 one-hour consultations, she had over 10. They also claim that she was given the fullest possible information of the risks and benefits of taking puberty blockers. Kira also claims that they led her down a path of transition. Let me just read you a little quote from Miss Kira Bell. Okay, let me just read you a little quote. I would say it was saving me from and depression in general, and at the time I felt it relieved all of those medical health issues I was feeling alongside gender dysphoria. If you're telling them that the treatment that they're providing is helping your gender dysphoria, is making you not want to, is making you no longer depressed, what are they supposed to do? Just take you off? Say like, oh, are you sure? Are you sure you really don't want to anymore? Like, you sure? She says, oh, they should have challenged me on what I was claiming for myself. They should have challenged me more and then I would have had a different outcome. Challenge that you're no longer feeling gender dysphoric. Challenge that you're no longer challenge that you no longer feel depression and anxiety and all of these mental health issues that you came initially complaining of?
I didn't even like realize this when I was filming this, but the things that they should have challenged her on, like, were decisions that she made when she was an adult. Maybe they should have challenged you more when you were taking puberty blockers, but like that's the whole point of puberty blockers, so that you can delay your puberty a little bit and decide when you're more mature, when you're more competent. You made those decisions for yourself, girl. You made those decisions when you were older. That's on you. That's it. Bye.
A doctor's job is to act in the best interest of a patient, especially when they are a minor, especially when they're a child. That's exactly what they did. This whole notion that gender clinics like Tavistock are pushing kids to transition, it's absurd. Here's a little quote from Dr. Polly Carmichael, who is the consultant clinical psychologist who runs the Gender Identity Development Service at the Tavistock Clinic. Let me just read this for you. She described their approach as cautious and said they work closely with children and their families to reach the right decisions for them, with fewer than half of those seen going on to take puberty blockers or cross-sex hormones. If this clinic is pushing kids to transition, they're not doing a good job. Less than 50% success rate is not that good, especially when the people coming to your gender clinic are people that are already experiencing gender identity issues. Like, I feel like if that was truly their goal, they would be able to get way more than less than 50% of the people that they see. That's clearly not what they're trying to do. I'm not too sure of the process in the UK. If you're from the UK and you've been through the process, definitely let me know down in the comments. But when I first started my transition and I was trying to get onto hormone replacement therapy, I had to do a 12-session in-depth psychoanalysis of my gender history, of my family history, of my history with trauma, all this kind of stuff. Like, they went over everything. I had to bring in pictures from my childhood to prove how consistent, persistent, and insistent my gender identity was. My family had to come in and talk to my therapist and talk about their experience with my gender identity. And at the time, yeah, of course it was frustrating. I said to myself, why doesn't she believe me? Why won't she just let me go on hormones? Like, I can't live like this. But looking back, I'm like, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Medical transition is huge, you know what I mean? It's life-changing. It's not something that can be taken lightly at all. And the vast majority of trans activists support extensive therapy before any medical transition. Like, is it possible that individual healthcare providers are not conducting appropriate, evaluations or not conducting appropriate diagnoses? Of course that's possible. But I really don't see how restricting access to all of trans kids' medical care is the solution to that. And that's exactly what this ruling does. Basically, the premise was that people under 16 are very unlikely to be able to understand the consequences or the risks associated with puberty blockers, which, if you have been paying attention, is super confusing because of the very limited risks of puberty blockers. And this is where it gets really good, okay? Well, not good, bad, awful. This is a little quote from the decision, okay? Paragraph 138 says, it follows that to achieve Gillick competence, the child or young person would have to understand not simply the implications of taking puberty blockers, but those of progressing to cross-sex hormones. This is so ridiculous. Have these people never taken like a statistics class? Do they not know that correlation does not equal causation? They argue that the high number of people that start puberty blockers that go on to take cross-sex hormones proves that there's an inherent link between them and that you need to be aware of all the risks that are associated with gender transition down along the line. No, they don't. The whole point of puberty blockers is to give young people a chance to further assess their identity and to make that decision later on. Like I said earlier, if there was truly a link between these two things, you would see all of those kids that were treated because of precocious puberty, you would see all of them starting to become transgender or starting to take cross-sex hormones, which they don't. If anything, the high number of people that start off taking puberty blockers that go on to take cross-sex hormones proves that they are being accurately diagnosed. If you really, really wanted to, you could argue that children shouldn't be able to consent to puberty blockers, even though there's literally like no risk. But even that's a reach because we allow minors to consent to medical procedures all the time. Teenagers are allowed to take birth control without their parents' consent. How come that's not a problem? Sometimes the consent of the child is not even necessary. It's not even required if it's deemed in the best interest of the child. Think about circumcision, for example. But now you can't block your puberty for 6 months to a year with no implications whatsoever? Make it make sense. I'm getting too heated. I need to stop. I need to relax. In conclusion, to wrap it all up, I think that this is a ridiculous ruling, not only because it completely goes against the scientific evidence, but also because it is a needless attack on young trans people. If Kira was really upset that this person didn't do their job right, sue them for malpractice or some shit, girl. Anyways, you guys, let me know what you think about this ruling down in the comments below. Do you think that they made the right decision? Do you think they made the wrong decision? Let me know. If you guys like this video, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up down below. It really helps out my channel a lot. Subscribe if you are not already and you would like to be. But yeah, other than that, I think I'm going to go. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in Monday's video. Bye, guys.
Relationship. made it on like paper. Oh yeah, that's not that was stupid. That was instantly debunked instantly. The paper mache is like mummy dolls. Yeah.
So yeah, see you for part 6. I'm out.